शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिनि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिनि शङ्करतोषिनि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनि रोषिनि दिथिसुतरोषिनि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I hope the audio is coming fine. Thanks a lot for joining us in our OG live stream timing, which is in the middle of the night. A lot of people from outside India can view more comfortably, and most of our owl lifestyle students can also visit us during this time of the day. So, uh, what's up with the audio? Nina, are you telling me or Bhupendra? Because I guess he was saying he also had some problem with his audio and stuff. Let me know if my audio is coming fine. Okay. So audio is weird. Mine is weird. Okay. I don't know what's up. Oh shit, my audio is weird. Now I can't even monitor on StreamYard. So no idea what's happening. Hello. Let me restart my mic. But a slight reverb, I guess. Hey, yeah, even last day, someone was saying for a while there was some echo. Let me see what I can do. Everything seems to be fine here. I don't know. I deleted all the cache history and stuff from my Google Chrome. So maybe some audio settings got changed. Echo cancellation is on. Default audio and all. Right. I thank you. I know what's up.
Hello, let me know if it's better now. What the fuck is this problem? I don't want all my website data to get cancelled out. StreamYard had completely changed the settings of my mic. The audio was coming from the webcam. This is what happened in my last podcast with Rebecca Barsef as well. Somehow on her side of the settings, she had selected, I guess, my webcam or maybe I had screwed up. Later on, I found out it was all my webcam catching the mic. Idiotic stuff from StreamYard. Orientation settings are disabled while live. I don't know. I hope there's nothing else to do. Great. So Bhupendra, you opened a channel yourself. That is very, very fascinating, and it's very interesting that Nina called you Bhupenda, which is very interesting because anyone who has the surname of ending with Indra, Robindro, etc., Devendra, Premendro, we call them in short. The name gets called up till the letter N only. So Bhupen, Premen, Robin, etc. These are all short forms for those Bengali names only. That I get a small audio mixer. I do have a sound card, but StreamYard, it doesn't matter for StreamYard. My sound card was not even selected. It was selected up until last day, right? So yesterday I deleted all my Google Chrome cache and stuff, so it changed that setting as well. It was taking my webcam mic. I have a Motu 2 input, 2 output sound card. Okay, let's start. So the thing with this video is many people have been recommending it, and some senior people also sent it to me after our viewers actually recommended this video. I did not get any time to watch this beforehand. I have no clue why is this video important. What fascinating things did Deep Halder say in this platform? And for some reason, this platform seems very familiar. Did Jay Sai Deepak give some famous speech in this platform about 2 years back, as far as I can remember? In this Prabodhan Manch Parle. Parle is in Maharashtra, right? Ville Parle and stuff. Navay Vimarsha is a project we all try to be part of, but mainly run by him. Wow, wow, fascinating. This was needed in Bengal. Okay, so this is not even Bengal based. This is even more fascinating. The name is great already. I'll check out the channel as soon as possible. I thought it was just some small Twitter handle who will post some, retweet some stuff and etc. I did not know it was a full channel already. So great stuff, guys. Let's see what's up with this video, with this speech of Deep Halder.
And the ones that you give to our volunteers later in the ensuing time.
This orange, this saffron table gives me some PTSD sort of a thing. I remember that this is where I think Jesai Deepak for the first time gave some insanely fiery speeches. I mean, even compared to his other speeches, that was some fiery stuff he said here. I think we did a reaction video on that as well.
Taking care of
Oh, y'all are writing articles as well. Oh my god, y'all are already up and running fully.
appropriateness and brevity. Over to you, Deep.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of the books out of 3 available outside. Reason why is the second book is called Bengal 2021, an election diary. And I had hinted that the BJP will do very well. It did not. So I think it was continuity in Bengal, and it was also the death of my second book. It's a bright sunny day outside, and it's an almost filled hall. It's sad that, in a sense, that all of you who could have spent time, spending some more time reading the Sunday paper, planning a long brunch, has come here to listen to stories of hopelessness, lack of joy, and a very dark future. At least that's what it seems like now. From where I come, Broken Bengal, my part of Broken Bengal, Calcutta, West Bengal, there are protests, you would know, over the gruesome rape and murder of Lady Doctor. Puja starts from coming Wednesday. And of course, Puja is going to be held, but there's no joy. There's complete joylessness because there are still protests on the streets. I came from Calcutta. On the other side of the border, Puja will not even be held, perhaps, in most spaces. The caretaker government, headed by Mohammad Yunus, they have said...
just to inform the non-Bengali viewers here, this time Puja was a little lackluster compared to other years. People actually did shop a little less. Like I went to one of the core days just before Puja in some shopping malls to hang out, even with my insane schedule. And there were actually surprisingly low amounts of people, and there was some kind of Eid just before the Durga Puja as well, right? On that day I thought at least it will be very, very crowded because the place I went to was a very Muslim dominated area. So I guess they chose a different time, or they just stayed indoors, the Muslims. So even they were not really flooding the shopping mall. So it was pretty comfortable. I thought I won't get any parking. I thought I won't be able to step foot anywhere. I thought I won't be able to get to sit anywhere, etc. During the pujas, I think on the Shoshti or Shoptami day, I did go to the shopping mall to watch Bahurupi. That day it was at least a bit of crowd, but it was not insane, inhuman amounts of crowd like other years. Yeah. Retro Singh, Dada, I'm in the city. I now work from here and I have a studio, thinking of getting into content creation. Yeah, nice. Everyone needs to get into content creation.
That more than 3,000 pujas will be held. But I keep going to Bangladesh. I've done a book last year. I know that that's a headline grabber. In many places, some of the stories you might have seen on X and on websites, Hindus are being told that do not dare to hold Durga Puja. If you do, these are the conditions. In one district, they have been told that you pay up 5 lakh rupees and then you can have a peaceful puja. And whoever I've been speaking to, Hindu rights activists, NGO workers, Durga Puja committee members, they're saying that yes, we may hold pujas, but we'll be in terror throughout that time because attacks can happen anytime, and attacks have been happening. Now, how did we reach this space that protests on the streets during this auspicious occasion? It's the biggest thing for Hindu Bengalis worldwide. In fact, not just Hindu Bengalis, I'll come in a bit to that. Also to followers of other faith who happen to speak this language. Durga Puja is a carnival. That perhaps is also a reason for this problem. But how did we come to such a pass where there is joylessness in West Bengal and especially in Kolkata, and there is complete...
Well, Durga, to be fair to all our devout Bengali Hindu friends in Kolkata, Durga Puja is a carnival for a lot of those devout Bengali Hindus as well. The people who got it the UNESCO heritage stamp and stuff. It was all on the basis of it being a carnival. And remember, we had discussed that article as well, that it has I guess surpassed the idea of just a religious festival. It's become a an all-encompassing cultural carnival. It was all done by Bengali Hindus only, so it's not just non-Hindu, non-Bengalis who are calling it a carnival.
Complete hopelessness in the other side of Bengal, Bangladesh. Now, why am I clubbing an Eastern Indian state with a foreign country? Is it because I speak the same language? My mother tongue is the same as people from Bangladesh? Is it because it was an unbroken Bengal before partition? No, I am not just talking about two kinds of protests, two kinds of hopelessness, because what afflicts Bengal this side and Bangladesh that entire subcontinent tomorrow. Before I lose myself in the pages of history, because it's a very long subject to club in an hour's time, let me tell you about two photographs. I wish I could have shown them to you, but I'll explain what those photographs are. One photograph is from July this year. It's about a young man who was protesting along with thousands and lakhs of other students against the quotas in government jobs under Sheikh Hasina. Okay, you all know about that. It eventually led to her ouster, and she's now in India. Now, on 16th July, he dared the
I heard she's going to leave India as well, right? She's going to UAE, I think.
police to open fire on him. Horrific thing to have happened. He opened out his arms, went near the policemen standing there, dared them to open fire. The policemen did. They shot rubber bullets at him. One hit his chest. Like I said, horrible thing to have happened. He stuttered and fell to his death. Now, that picture of that boy, young boy, Abu Said, became a poster, became a rallying point for entire Bangladesh, Hindus and Muslims who were protesting the quota reforms and the dictatorial tendencies of Sheikh Hasina, who has been in power for very long. Not only did protests intensify, and Abu Said become a Che Guevara of modern times. His face became put on t-shirts and posters on the wall, etc., etc. In Bangladesh, even in West Bengal, a lot of filmmakers, student groups, public intellectuals who did Facebook post after Facebook post on Abu Said and his supreme sacrifice. Now, like I said, it's a horrific thing to have happened. What nobody bothered to check in West Bengal, and I'm sure people know in Bangladesh, was that as horrific as the murder and this instance of police brutality is, Abu Said was a member of the student wing of Jamaat-e-Islami. Now, Jamaat-e-Islami, I'm sure all of you know, had opposed in its earlier avatar the very birth of Bangladesh. In fact, some of the worst atrocities in 1971 War of Independence, which saw East Pakistan become Bangladesh with the help of the Indian Army, of course, were carried out not just by the West Pakistani Army, but from people within, and mostly by the Jamaat-e-Islami. Jamaat-e-Islami did not want Bangladesh to be born in the first place. And it's a travesty that they continue to remain so socially and currently politically relevant in Bangladesh. And they officially, I'm sure now they may not say things in that manner because they are being looked at very closely by the international community. But till October last year, they had openly said that they want Sharia laws in Bangladesh. Man-made laws have no space.
Yeah.
And this boy, unfortunate death came to him, was an open supporter of Jamaat-e-Islami, and not just an open supporter, he was part of the student wing of Jamaat-e-Islami. Now let me talk about religiosity, hard religiosity.
Guys, Deep Halder pointing these things out is significant for a reason, because Deep Halder is not just any right winger. He basically has almost an entirety of, I think, liberal leftist circles, as far as I've understood, based on his Twitter and stuff. And he is looked upon with respect by people from all sides of the political aisle. Him pointing out that, yes, what happened to that boy or that guy was sad, but remember, at least just acknowledge the fact that he was part of a party or part of the student wing of a party who did not want Bangladesh to be carved out of Pakistan, who wanted Sharia law in Bangladesh. At least remember that. And Deep Halder pointing this out is pretty significant, and maybe it's a sign of the times for the era to come in Bengal, the new crop of Bengali intelligentsia, perhaps.
Did not stop almost the whole of Bangladesh to rally behind the young Abu Said, who wanted a very different Bangladesh, perhaps the Bangladesh we are going to see in the coming months and years. Now let's talk about another protest. Exactly.
Divya, um, Deobandi, Barel. Yeah, so that was the some Maulana Maududi, I guess, who got the Bharat Ratna later on, right? Who had called for Qawmiyat-e Muttahida, and the people who had asked for partition were called Qawmiyat-e Judagana. So the people who believed in Qawmiyat-e Muttahida, I think he had a famous debate with Allama Iqbal or someone. So I think his argument was, I have heard from other sources, I have not read exactly his words, that why leave Pakistan, why leave India for Pakistan when we can live here and make it Darul Islam? Why leave this Darul Harb? I think so.
Exactly a month from then. This is the, like I said, the RG Corp
Right, Maulana Madni, not Maududi.
protest. Gruesome rape and murder happened. And people, young doctors came out on the streets, other people joined them, social media influencers, filmmakers, in fact, the whole of the city. I happened to be there at that time. Now, a gentleman in saffron robe, some of you might have seen him on TV and Twitter. He one day came out wearing saffron robes, holding a flag of India, and he dared Mamata Banerjee's police, and water cannon, the full force of water cannon was opened on him. But he kept walking, holding the Indian flag. Now he became an instant celebrity on Twitter. Probir Basu, Bolaram Basu, also known as Bolaram Basu. And some of my friends in Delhi media, they did stories on him.
That man is a professional photographer, by the way. But so Deep Halder discussing these things, saying these things as a Bengali, kind of representing Bengal on these platforms where Sanjeev Sanyal, Anand Ranganathan, J. Sai Deepak have graced their presence. So I guess Bengal has arrived on the national scene of non-political, non-left dialogue, discourse, conversation. I guess Deep Halder has, I think, taken up the space. Finally, I think he is our answer to J. Sai Deepak, Anand Ranganathan.
They did interviews with him. I, in fact, helped somebody get in touch with him. But if you were in Kolkata, you would have seen how the protests almost stopped. People forgot for that one day, for the next couple of days, that they were protesting against a gruesome rape and murder and complete breakdown of the administration in West Bengal, the horrific state in which the hospitals are, and the fact that a doctor can be raped and murdered inside a hospital. What they instead spoke about was the protests cannot be hijacked by a man wearing saffron robe who's
Holy shit. I had no idea Deep Halder said these things. He is filling a significant vacuum, guys. I think we are on our way. Bengal is on its way.
an agent of BJP, somebody said, who's linked to the RSS, somebody else said, and said that, this is a completely non-political, quote unquote, non-communal protest. And how dare a saffron sadhu come out holding the Indian flag and, hijack the protests, hijack a very secular, very all-involving protest from the rest of us. It got me thinking. A month ago, Abu Said, the little boy, unfortunate death, let me again say, his death, and did not let people in Bangladesh think that, okay, this is a Jamaat-e-Islami student wing guy. This guy wants a non-secular Islamic Bangladesh. This guy perhaps stands for an ideology that do not want Hindus to remain in Bangladesh, and even if they do, to remain as completely second-class citizens. Entire of Bangladesh, which includes all the talking heads of Dhaka, quote-unquote secular people, film stars, TV presenters, public intellectuals, everybody rallied on Abu Said. And here is a gentleman people do not know of. Nobody knew Bolaram Basu till that moment.
Yeah.
Who, just because he came out and he came out wearing saffron robes, came out holding the flag of India, the protests almost stopped. And people said, look.
Guys, what a brilliant comparison. That everyone celebrated, at least posthumously, that Jamaat-e-Islami student wing guy. But here everyone criticized a man for wearing saffron and allegedly hijacking a secular protest. So, but I'm not really excited about this comparison. This comparison we could have done on our own if we had thought about it or discussed it at length. I'm very fascinated with this because Deep Halder is saying these things. Deep Halder is onto something, I think. This is very, very significant. A legit Bengali. And see, Sanjeev Sanyal is of course a Bengali. I'm very proud of him as a Bengali. But let's face it, he has not lived in Bengal, I guess, for 20 years now. But this guy frequents Bengal all the time. And he is saying these things and pretty overt things. Deep Halder is not playing games here. This is not a inside some closed door party with right wingers. This is an open munch on YouTube. Everyone is watching this. All right wingers of India are watching this. Finally, we have someone from Bengal.
Why are we allowing somebody like that to hijack our protest from us? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the crux of the problem. It is, before like I said,
And I'm so excited about Deep Halder saying these things that I've actually forgot to mention that. See, this is why we need, let's say, not to shit on right wingers of the past era, but of course, see, pioneers of every movement, every idea, every even music genre face some problems. Some of them just come across not so capable in later years. Now, some of our pioneers were absolute geniuses whose shoes we can't fill. Some of our pioneers were pretty stupid compared to today. But this is why we need the, let's say, educated right wingers. See what a brilliant comparison, what a brilliant thing he pointed out, that they celebrated Abu Said and criticized the saffron wearing photographer here.
said before I lose myself in the pages of history, let me just say that this deracination of Hindu-ness in this part of Bengal, which we know as West Bengal today, other part of Bengal, which is Bangladesh.
What is Deep Halder talking about? Holy shit. If I had known he has given this speech, I don't know when he gave this speech.
It is now almost impossible to carry on as a Hindu, is the crux of the problem of broken Bengal. It is not just, Bengal is not just broken by partition. In fact, I'll soon come to this. Partition never stopped in Bengal. Waves of migration are carrying on till date.
Yeah, Abhinav, that's my point, that yes, it's the truth, but I thought he's happy with his, let's say, liberal persona who writes in print, has a balanced view. I don't think after this speech he is going to have any qualms about being called a right winger. Alive Dada as a Hindu, don't know till. Oh, okay.
But the brokenness of this idea of Hindu-ness, in fact, I would go on to the extent of saying sometimes Indianness is the crux of the problem of broken Bengal. And even as I stand in front of you today, let me tell you, I am also part of the problem. Last Wednesday, it was Mahalaya. It was, I shared a picture on Twitter. It was a picture of the goddess Durga, 10 hands, hiding her face with 2 of her hands, as the body of the female doctor is laid out in front of her. Now, I was immediately trolled. People told me that how can you sort of, post such a picture? It's Mahalaya and it's our goddess. It's a matter of our faith.
Okay, before Deep Halder explains himself, I'd like to explain it something for him. Someone had tagged me on Twitter as well, saying that, oh yeah, you like Deep Halder and stuff, but see what he's posting. So I explained to him that, as far as I've been told, as far as I've come to understand, that the idols that you all see in Durga Puja pandals, the giant ones dressed up in different characters and stuff, those are basically for show. The real uska, I think, pran pratishtha bhi nahi hota hai. The real idol is a small one right in front of the stage area, okay, to which the purohits actually address and worship in reality. So whatever happens on the top for the show and stuff, those are just a statement. It's the carnival aspect of the puja, okay. The real puja happens with a small idol, a small set of the entire family of Ma Durga in front of the stage. So I'm not really bothered about what's being done, how it's desecrated in the rest of the idol. It's not really desecrated. It's everyone gives some sort of message and stuff.
Who are you to post such a picture? Don't make political statements through religious pictures. And not immediately, after a while, I deleted the picture. I didn't delete it because I was trolled. I've been trolled many times before. I deleted the picture because, sincerely speaking, as I stand before you, I do not know anymore what is right and what is wrong. I do not know deracination of Hindu religious cultural identity has affected even someone like me in such a manner that should I be making a political statement through a picture like that? Now, it's another matter that the picture is that of an actual Durga idol inside a pandal. It's not a picture that I got from somewhere. It's a picture, in fact, that I got from the West Bengal BJP's media WhatsApp group, and it's a picture of a goddess's idol in an actual pandal. If you go to Calcutta, you can see that pandal. Okay, it didn't matter that I could have answered my people who are trolling me by saying that we Bengalis, Hindu Bengalis, look at Durga Puja in a very different light Durga is not just a mother for us, she's also the daughter. The sentiment around Durga Puja is a daughter's homecoming. I could have spoken about so many other things, but it actually got me thinking. What do I know? I do not know, because in 2019, just to promote secularism, and you can find the link, it's a simple Google search away. In 2019, inside a Durga Puja pandal, Azan was played. Azan was played by, not forcibly, by the Puja committee members themselves to promote secularism. And it ran into controversy, of course. But within Bengal, especially within Kolkata, if you take away some people, many people were amazed. Why is there a controversy?
Right.
Is Durga Puja
And to be fair to the organizers here, Dr. Amartya Sen's views, I think, are in alignment with that. Dr. Amartya Sen, in his book, I've said this many times before, but I'll say this again for if anyone's watching our live streams for the first time. Dr. Amartya Sen has a book called Identity and Violence, of which I have the Bengali translation. There, Amartya Sen has been pretty fair to all religions in some extent, unfair to some people in some contexts, etc. He has said many fascinating things I agree with. He has brought out a lot of the aspects of the glories of ancient India and stuff, the scientific achievements and stuff, which were the cool things to discuss right before and up until I think 2014, when BJP came to power, and all of a sudden mentioning ancient India became a Brahminical patriarchy thing. But I came to know so many of past ancient India's scientific achievements, mathematical achievements from Dr. Amartya Sen's book. Okay, because he is making the point that why have Indians, let's say, conceded this ground of scientific achievements to the West, while just being happy with getting called the experts in spirituality. It's like साइंस हमको नहीं आता है, साइंस हार्ड साइंस है वेस्ट के लिए और स्पिरिचुअलिटी है हमारे लिए, वहीं पे हम खुश है. But we were always great in both. That's Dr. Amartya Sen's point. There are other great points and stuff, but my point is, while discussing Islam, Dr. Amartya Sen says, I am not saying this, okay? I'm quoting his book word for word here, that the second line of the Azan, which some Hindus have a problem with, at least when it's being played inside the Durga Puja pandal, that there is no God but Allah. The translation for that given by Dr. Amartya Sen, at least by the translator maybe, I don't know what's the English sentence. In the Bengali book, it says, there is no God but God. Because the translation for Allah, I guess, is God. Therefore, the translator has written, Bhagavan chhara kono Bhagavan nei. Okay? There is no God but God. There is no Bhagwan except Bhagwan. That's the translation that Amartya Sen and his team maybe came up with. Okay? So, by that logic, it's of course fair to play the Azan in the Durga Puja pandal.
Not a time to make your fellow citizens who happen to follow other faiths feel welcome? What is the problem if Azan is being played? Now, this deracination of Hindu identity, my dear friend and somebody I constantly look up to, refer to, whose books I read, I think who has addressed you also in the past, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, he says that it began and it solidified during, with the beginning of the communist rule. But I would slightly disagree. I think
remember the insane post I made day before yesterday that Sanjeev Sanyal has legitimately, justifiably criticized CPIM so much. Now Trinamool supporters are sharing Sanjeev Sanyal's reels, quotes, and thinking that it somehow defends Trinamool's failures. Holy shit.
Deracination of the Hindu religious identity goes back in time. I'll come to the communist rule in a bit, but it goes back in time. It goes back in time when, since I began with Durga Puja, when after the Battle of Plassey, Nabokrashna Dev, who was landed gentry, he was one of the first people who turned Barir Pujo, which literally means Durga Puja that is done inside your home, into Barwari Puja, or as a community puja, which you see outside. And you know what happened? That's one of the first recorded history of Durga Puja as a community puja. 1757, okay? Not with a big...
By the way, for those of you who don't know, the Shobha Bajar Rajbari Durga Puja, very famous in Kolkata, was the one by Nabokrashna Dev, and he was famous for other reasons as well. He was the head of the head of the Kayastha Samaj in the Bengal region, and he was an adopted son who became a very able administrator, or at least a leader for the Kayasthas in Bengal.
Beginning of the communists, 1757, Nabokrashna Dev, Zamindar, he wanted to please Lord Clive, okay, and he wanted to get Rai Bahadur for himself, the title. So he told the idol maker that why don't you make the Pratima like Queen Victoria of England? So the idol maker ran away, saying that, firstly, not a nice thing to say, but Queen Victoria was not very pleasant looking. But that apart, the whole idea of making your goddess look like the Queen of England was blasphemy pro max. So the idol maker ran away. But this is a zamindar we are talking about. So he got somebody else to actually make an idol of Durga to look like Queen Victoria. It doesn't stop at that. I'm sorry if it spoils your morning. But alcohol was served for Lord Clive. Beef and pork were served. Okay. Dancers were called. And
Guys, the head of the Kayastha Samaj in Bengal, the devout Bengali Hindus,
Mr. Clive had a gala time.
before CPIM.
He had a gala time. He enjoyed whatever was offered to him. He went back, and Navakrishna Dev was made Rai Bahadur.
Nice.
That's the first recorded history of Durga Puja as a community puja. It's unfortunate. It's a wonderful festival. I have been pretty non-ritualistic most of my life, but Durga Puja is a time when I go home. When I used to stay in Delhi, I used to go home, make it a point to go home, spend time with my parents, friends, family. But the first recorded history of Durga Puja is a community puja. Has a rather dark twist.
So this is the beginning of it becoming a Barwari Puja, community puja. Holy shit. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting too much. But this is insane stuff. I can't still fathom. See, I'm so surprised. What can I do? Because I had thought he has brought out some interesting aspects about culture and stuff from the liberal Bengali perspective. I had no fucking clue that Deep Halder is coming out of the closet as a right winger. This is his coming out ceremony, and I can still fathom that. I can still grasp it. What is happening? I just talked to this man a few days back in person, and I had no idea he had these plans.
Now, is it always, like I said, what do I know? Because I'm confused myself. Is it always wrong to question your faith, at least the practices of your faith? No. Some of the tallest men and women in history from our faith who have made our people, who have made our society better, have come from Bengal, and they have questioned, fought with, debated with people who had other thoughts. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Sati, Vidyasagar, widow remarriage, girls' education. There have been example after example of reformists in Bengal who have, like I said, debated with more conservative sections of society to take Hindu culture, Hindu religious identity, and Hindu people ahead, not just for Bengal, but for the whole of the country. Parallelly, there have been people who have stuck on to what is the best of us, to what is the core of us. The word Hindutva, Chandranath Basu, which coined by Chandranath Basu, which was later defined, modified, and spread out by Savarkar, came from Bengal. We had Vivekananda, one of the greatest modern person with a modern and yet traditional bent of mind, who took Hinduism beyond shores and who continue to inspire us. But interestingly, let me tell you a story.
Okay, before Deep Halder starts his story, let me just comment on what Retrowave is saying here. So the Raja Ram Mohan Roy issue, Retrowave, as far as I've come to understand, it's not really settled, okay? Since there are many Bengali right-wingers who are very, very educated on this. First of all, my stance is that I do not give a fuck anymore. If anyone wants to have it, come and debate it on my channel. Otherwise, I'm not convinced. But because I know some good arguments on both sides and stuff. But mainly, since I now know so many legit, highly educated Bengali right-wingers who are fans of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, so all I would tell you is that some quotes here and there don't make a complete argument. Okay, let me tell you who all are in favor of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Now, Deep Halder, Sanjeev Sanyal, Srijit Dotto, and no one has a face-to-face debate on these issues on at least on Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So we'll have to pick and choose and not leave any idols for the commies. Remember, that's has to be one of the most foremost goals of ours. Okay, don't give them a rallying point. Claim everything. Everything is ours. Everything is ours. Okay, they're all our idols. Don't let them have fun with Raja Ram Mohan Roy statue now.
The mad monk, some of us call him, Ramakrishna Dev. Ramakrishna Mission is named after him. Ramakrishna Dev had converted a non-believing Narendra Datta into Vivekananda, who later became Swami Vivekananda. Let me tell you a story about Ramakrishna Dev. Ramakrishna Dev was known as the mad monk. He said he could converse with goddess Kali. He used to call Kali Ma, and he would behave with Kali as if he's talking to his own mother. Ramakrishna Dev one day was sitting, and a Muslim gentleman came up to him and said, "Your God is false. My God is the only true God." So Ramakrishna Dev said, "Why do you say this?" He said, "Because it's written." And he gave him a book to read. So Ramakrishna Dev opened the book and he said, "Let me read." So people around him said, "What are you doing? Oh, great monk, what are you doing? You can't read it, because if you do, you will lose your faith." So Ramakrishna Dev smiled and he read what he had to read. Then he closed his eyes and he kept it closed for a while. When he opened it, he looked at the man and said, "I'm sorry, but your God is just like my God." This is not what's a forward. It's actually a story you will get to know if you engage with Ramakrishna Mission. So what do I know? Is it always wrong to question your faith? Because that's the basis of our faith, to question it, to not solidify it, to keep the questions alive. We get bettered. And just when I'm saying it, my friend Amiganatra steps in and to continuously question our faith. And you know what Ramakrishna Dev said? Joto mot toto pot. That's the crux of his philosophy. As many thoughts, as many paths. There is no one way in Hinduism. There are many, many ways of Hinduism. And Bengal, broken Bengal today, but unbroken Bengal, has since forever been walking that path, been questioning each other, been debating, sometimes fiercely so. But somewhere down the line, and it definitely did not start with the communists, because I just told you the example of Namakrishna Dev, and that definitely is not a questioning of various paths. That I think is intensely problematic when you make the goddess Durga look like Queen Victoria. It happened in 1757, but somewhere down the line, our entire identity got so deracinated. I'm again using.
He's talking about Hindu deracination. Holy shit. So, did it happen in 1757 itself? Then I think it would make a little more sense, because remember the British colonization that started in 1757 uh, was kind of a respite from the Muslim invasions of and the rule of Sirajud-Dowla. So I would have a little more sympathy for the Bengali Hindu rulers of those days if they were felicitating the queen back in 1757. Although I don't think it was in 1757. I think he got the year wrong, right? So anyway, I want to respond to something here what Abirjan asked. This is a very important question. Many people have this question in their minds, that I want to know, what do you think of Ramakrishna Mission's deep sleep against the plight of Bangladeshi Hindus, where they themselves are under attack. I read a book where they were declared. Okay, so Abirjan, I have actually asked this to some Ramakrishna Mission members now, like disciples and stuff, who have been and absolutely fully are engrossed in the ideas of Ramakrishna Mission. Now, their idea is that, see, first of all, you all know that Ramakrishna Mission faced problems under CPIM rule, right? Which is why they asked for the minority status and stuff, because they wanted to run their own schools, and our laws don't really let Hindu institutions run their own organizations and their own schools. But they somehow carved out a path, did adjustments and stuff, and did collaborations. There's a sentence that on some doors you need to knock politely, on some doors you need to kick the door down and stuff. So Ramakrishna Mission's main goal has been, I've been told that Swami Vivekananda's main goal was that this institution will survive for 1,000 years. Political scenarios may come and go, but the institution has to survive for ever and ever. So they do survive ably. They do contribute to society in all ways a Hindu institution hopes of serving. So they would do all that. Does it come with some things we who don't run an institution would like to not see happen? Yes, they do. Like, I have this beautiful thing called Thus Spake Prophet Muhammad. It's a version of different quotes and portions of the Quran and some hadith, I guess, compiled by Ramakrishna Mission, which, if you read this, a small 20 rupee book, if you read this will come across to you. This will give you the impression that Islam is the greatest religion in the world, and at least the best motivational collection of motivational speeches you can have in your pocket at any time. So they have these different kinds of relationships to different degrees with different kinds of people, which is why they survive. Now, if someone does adjustments for surviving, I don't have a problem with that too much, because that's how Hinduism has survived first and foremost. We have always had कोलैबोरेटर क्लासेस टू सम डिग्रीज, एंड हम उसको कोलैबोरेटर होने के लिए गाली दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों ने ऐसा किया कि कोलैबोरेट करके सिर्फ अपना पॉकेट भर लिया और बाद में भोसरी के कन्वर्ट भी कर गए, और या फिर मतलब खीर वीर खा के बाहर भी चले गए. सम पीपल कोलैबोरेटेड जस्ट टू सर्वाइव. we Hinduism survives because of the collaboration of some people. Let's not forget that. तो रामकृष्ण मिशन को तुम उस कैटेगरी में डाल सकते हो. But other than that, they contribute so much. They after all give Hindu values. They after all do run elite institutions. Okay, they are the only non-convent schools, I think, probably in the entire country, who truly run elite fucking institutions educationally. जहाँ की आज भी एजुकेशन क्वालिटी में कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं होता है. In the colleges and in the schools, it's an honor for any family to get their kids into Ramakrishna Mission. So nothing is perfect. No one is perfect.
In the word that we forgot who we are.
Okay, so let's see the Halder's coming out party again from a 1 minute rewind.
The line, and it definitely did not start with the communists, because I just told you the example of Navakrishna Dev, and that definitely is not a questioning of the of various paths that I think is I think
Abir Zen, yeah, it's different in India. Here Ramakrishna Mission is very popular among all classes.
is intensely problematic when you make the goddess Durga look like Queen Victoria. It happened in 1757, but somewhere down the line, our entire identity got so deracinated, I'm again using the word, that we forgot who we are. And now coming to Sanjeev Sanyals, and this has been spoken of many times, the advent of the communist era, 34 years of the left. You know what happened when the communists came? 1 year, they came in 1977. 1 year after they came, in 1978 and 1979, the end of 1978 and the middle of 1979, one of the worst unrecorded massacres in independent India's history took place in West Bengal. I think the first time it was mainstreamed, it was of course spoken about, it was of course written about, academic journals, some very brilliant ones, but they remained inside very closed academic circles. I think the first time it was spoken about was by the writer Amitav Ghosh in the book Hungry Tide. He spoke about the Marichjhapi massacre, but it was a work of fiction. So even if there were chapters dedicated to it, it was taken as a work of fiction. In 1978-79, thousands of refugees, the number at one point of time swelled up to more than 1 lakh, Bengali Hindu refugees facing persecution, decades of persecution. And these are not just people who came during 1947. Like I said, the partition never stopped. Even after the birth of Bangladesh, persecution continued. So for decades, people came as refugees, running away with their bare minimum, with their lives, leaving behind their livelihoods, came to West Bengal. Now that huge population could not have been accommodated within West Bengal. So they were all sent to what is known as the Dandakaranya. This is the Dandakaranya from the mythical times. And they were put in charge of road building work. They were put in for manual labor. Now, who are these people? They were mostly people from the lower castes. They were people who were fisher folk, who were farmers, who knew how to make a fertile land grow crops, who knew how to fish. What would they do? Making roads in arid areas. So for decades, they were kept there, and they made the Dandakarana area their home. But while they were being sent there, the communist leaders, they became their leaders. They said, it's a horrible thing that the center and the state are doing to you. You are Bengalis, you are one of us, you are our brothers and sisters. If you were to ever come to power, we will bring you right back to Bengal where you belong. Because you speak this language, you can tend to our crops, you can fish for us, you will be brought back to Bengal.
Yeah, the slogan was 10 lakh Bangalir 20 lakh hath apnaderke shagoto janabe. 20 lakh hands of 10 lakh Bengalis or something. I'm probably screwing up the number. They are ready to welcome you when you come here.
Years passed, the Congress left, the communists came in 1977. These people remembered that promise, lakhs of people. They approached Jyoti Basu, took delegations to meet Mr. Basu. Mr. Basu did not meet them. They said that you had promised us that you will bring us back. Nobody met them. They were unwelcome. They were also fiercely independent and proud people. And over a period of time, working, doing those government jobs and making roads, they had saved some money. So they said, no, we don't need the government. From the money we have saved, we have identified an area, the Sundarbans area, part of which is in Bangladesh, part of which is in India. West Bengal. We'll go there, we'll find an island which does not have anybody, an uninhabited island, and we will convert that island into a small village for ourselves. And we will stay there, we'll fish, we'll farm, and we will carry on with our livelihood. 1977, I said left came. 1978, mid 1978, thousands of those people came to West Bengal in trains from the Andakarana region. They went to the Sundarbans. They went to the Sundarbans and they literally converted an uninhabited island into a bustling township. There were 6,000 huts in that island. There was a school. There was a boat making factory. There were salt pans. Okay. And the same communists who several decades ago had
Wasan, so I know it's cool to diss Bengalis for being leftist. I take part in that fun occasion myself from time to time. I have two questions for you though, since I don't know your age, background, anything, or where you are coming from exactly, in what context, how much do you know about us and stuff, or the history of Bengal and stuff. I have two questions. RSS, who are known famous for their groundwork, they convinced entire Northeast India to vote for BJP and stuff. Why couldn't they convince the devout Bengali Hindus who still remained devout up until maybe the last generation, who were from a place which was very devout to begin with? Why couldn't their groundwork convince them to be a united force for Hinduism? That's my first question to you. And second question is, what is BJP, RSS, or any Hindu organization doing today to fortify or enforce the ideas? Okay, because remember, not everyone is impressed or convinced by the same things. Some people are convinced by show of force. Some people are convinced by arguments. Some people are convinced by show of money. Some people are convinced by peacocking. The driving force of Bengali mindset is the Bengali bhadralok, and they are convinced by usually academia. What has current governments and RSS and stuff, or any proud Hindu organization, done to change the minds of academics?
had promised them they'll bring them back and then conveniently forgotten that promise. The government, the same communist government, said, you can't stay here because you are destroying the ecology of this island. Imagine climate change consciousness in 1978. So it said, you are destroying the ecology of this island. So you have to go back. They said, no, but this is an uninhabited island. Why will we go back? We have turned it into a township ourselves. And you had promised us space, and we have not taken any favors from you. We have not taken money. We have not taken anything. So between November, December 1978 and May 1979, one of the worst unrecorded massacres, because there was a complete press gag, took place in that island. Women were raped, kids were killed, men and women were both killed, bodies were thrown into the river. Okay, and police launches had surrounded that island so that nobody can come in and see for themselves what's happening. The number of people killed in those months crosses way over 6,000, 7,000. If you go to Wikipedia and write Marichjhapi massacre, you will see that the state government had said that less than 10 people were killed, which included 2 policemen. Okay, several thousand people over a course of a few months were killed. And Kolkata kept mum. I wrote a book, my first book, Blood Island, by talking to the survivors of those massacres so many years later.
Guys, I paused to show you all something. I remember this. So this, check out this lady. Okay, her name is Anu Jalais. She is a research fellow at London School of Economics and Political Science. Let's see what are her credentials. Kriya University. Is an environmental anthropologist working on the human-animal interface. Okay, she has proven or claimed, and proven actually, that the tigers of the Sundarbans became man-eaters because they first got a large-scale taste of human flesh and blood because of the Marichjhapi massacre. The dead bodies of the people who were killed, or even half dead bodies of the people who were killed and I mean were shot and stuff, were just thrown on the beaches near the forests which was being frequented by tigers and crocodiles. People were being dragged away by crocodiles and stuff. So that the tigers ate those bodies and from then onwards became man-eaters. And during the Bangladesh Hindu Bangladesh book release, Bangla book launch of Deep Halder, there was someone pointing out that Deep Halder said that, oh, no, Deep Halder told us this later on in our discussion, that he was not allowed to keep this in the book, I think. Or he did not keep it in the book for out of his own accord. I don't remember exactly. That he had talked to a contact of his, and the contact, while describing his childhood, which was he was a child when the Marichjhapi massacre was happening in front of his eyes. Okay, he was the son of those people who were getting killed. So he starts crying. He bawls like a baby, and because he says, one fine morning I woke up and I see all my friends, all the little kids' bodies floating around on the river, and he had hidden his tears for all these years. And when Deep Halder approaches him for this, that's what he says. So that's how the tigers became man-eaters.
I'll not go into the details, there's paucity of time, but it was a harrowing experience. It took me 5 years, and I had to search them from across India. And also some of them have gone back to Bangladesh. So horrified they are with what happened to them in West Bengal. But what is surprising is you heard
Nandish, I am very disappointed with your anti-left, right-wing fascist comment. CPAM did not feed tigers the blood of poor people. They redistributed the blood equally among tigers.
you heard of Gujarat 2002. Before that, you have heard of the Sikh massacre. You have not heard of Marichjhapi. Okay, the number massacres, I keep saying this, massacres should not be compared with each other in terms of numbers. It's a horrific thing to do. People dying are people dying. You shouldn't say a massacre is worse than the other simply by quoting numbers. But if you look at the numbers, it's staggering. 6,000, 7,000 people killed, butchered by West Bengal government police, headed by a communist government. Unarmed people, who fought back with bows and arrows made from branches of trees to save their lives, save their women. At the launch of my book in Delhi, Professor Bibek Debroy was there, and he said the most enlightening line for me. He said, as much as Deep is blaming the West Bengal government for what happened, I will point a finger at the Kolkata bhadralok. I will say that, what were you doing when this massacre was happening? Okay, there was a press gag. Okay, the government.
Okay, I asked this exact question to Deep Halder during the Q&A session of his book launch. But more importantly, Bibek Debroy, Sanjeev Sanyal, and Deep Halder are very, very significant names in the Marichjhapi context for one reason. One very important reason, which is Ross Malik, who is sort of a far left Ambedkarite person, who probably hates upper caste people with all his guts. Remember his paper we had discussed. He was obviously bringing out great facts, quality research and stuff, but his tone came across as that gave us the impression that he definitely hates upper castes. Okay, not maybe not all upper castes, but he definitely has a distinct hate for upper castes in general. But even that Ross Malik, who has fled for his life, all his life basically, even though he was celebrated when he was writing in the earlier days. Okay, then when CPIM goes out of power, all of a sudden his research is rejected by legitimate journal after journal after journal. He had given the list, remember, when we discussed his paper. So that man, as a sort of a citation, sort of an acknowledgement, mentioned that the only 3 legit Bengalis who have spoken on this issue, and I thank them for it, are Deep Halder, Sanjeev Sanyal, and Bibek Debroy, all of whom are upper castes. But I guess you could therefore say that Ross Malik is not really maybe a rabid anti-upper caste person, but even a person who comes across to me as a rabidly anti-upper caste man, even he acknowledges the let's say the credit that Bibek Debroy, Sanjeev Sanyal, and Deep Halder deserve for speaking on this issue. That's very, very significant.
Of the day can force the press not to publish something, and the press was not how it is today.
Are Nondish is pointing out something interesting. Are Kannadiga bro, how did you know this? What he's pointing out here is that Marichjhapi was an entrepreneurial hub, not dependent on the state. So the government corrected them. How dare they set up bakeries? Absolutely. How did you know this? From Amitav Ghosh's book or what? So this was one of the things that fucking pissed off the CPIM, in my personal opinion. That how dare you not be dependent on me? How dare you not say Sarkar ko kuch karna chahiye for every fucking problem in your life? How dare you not beg in front of me in the party office for every fucking problem in your life? How dare you be self-reliant? How dare you be defiant? Okay, Because Deep Halder was telling us that day that the attitude of those Marichjhapi people were that, yeah, you gave us a shelter and thank you, we'll go about our way now. All we want is access to your bazaars, markets and ports and stuff in Kolkata. You don't have to help us out with anything, bro. We'll make our stuff here, we'll sell in Kolkata. ये जो कैजुअल एंटरप्रेन्योरियल कॉन्वर्सेशन का जो स्पिरिट था, ये भोसड़ी वाले कॉमिक के दिमाग को खा गया. ठीक है, दिस इज द thing that Max Weber was talking about. No, the least amount of anti-Semitism he has seen anywhere in the world. It's in India. यही है वो, यही है हमारे चाणक्य के intellectual descendants जो कि थे मरिचझापी में, जो कि आज भोसड़ी के गायब हो गए हैं बंगाल से. And yesterday, I think I was having a call with Mr. Sociologist discussing again what we discuss on the live stream is the same things we discuss on our phone conversations as well. That what is happening to Bengal? What the fuck are we going to do in the coming years and stuff? So after the phone call, I remembered that one of the reasons for the large scale, I mean, the utter desolation in terms of entrepreneurial spirit in Bengalis is one very significant thing that I have grown up forever listening all my 33 years on this planet, is that everything, for every issue, the word business is used as a gali. Okay, let's say this live stream, the first thing that today it has finally started decreasing, okay, because everyone has realized no, this is killing the state. But up until I think 5-6 years back, 7 years back, everyone would, the first comment I would get from most people from any age is that, oh, वो channel खोला है, वो तो business कर रहा है, वो तो ব্যবসার জন্য করছে, ব্যবসা করছে. As if doing business is a bad thing, okay? For any project, no matter what the project, you get into cricket, you love cricket, oh, he's doing it for money. You open let's say, you start a band, oh, he's doing it for money. Okay, bro, don't do it for money. Don't go to Delhi, Bombay, Mumbai, Pune, USA, etc. for jobs. Oh my God, the number of commie friends I have in Pune and Bangalore, it's pissing me off every day. I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm trying to have my Facebook as a non-political profile, but it's so hard to keep my mouth fucking shut.
There was not so much media. There was hardly any television media. There was, a few papers which mostly depended on government ads. So you can have press gang, but surely it's happening in your state.
Ninar, I think he already did that. He definitely argued that it's a lower caste massacre, and some people, I think most right wingers obviously disagree with us on this aspect that yes, even though lower caste people were killed, it's not really a caste massacre as such, because no one was consciously killing them because of their caste. But you see, the way Mr. Sociologist and I, and even you agree these days, we view caste, in that sense, no, it was a caste massacre, because if you see, lower caste means lower status and higher caste means higher status. In that sense, it was a caste massacre according to our definition of caste, because they were people, and this was a brilliant line from that paper of Ras Malik that we had discussed, that they were the people whose death did not matter. Okay, the Kolkata bhadraloks who protested even during those years when Marichjhapi was at least beginning to become a talking point, at least even in 78, 79, when it was happening, even before the main massacre had happened, some intellectuals had visited. I've heard Sunil Gangopadhyay had visited, never wrote about it. He visited, I think had even tried to donate and help them out, but he never wrote about it, because then we would never read any fucking Kaka Babu novels, okay? The famous detective character franchise started by Sunil Gangopadhyay. So, why? How? Because ultimately lower status. It's okay if they die. It doesn't matter if they are killed. In that sense, it is a caste massacre.
You would know what's happening to almost 1 lakh people. 5, 6, 7,000 of them are being killed, raped, butchered, their kids thrown into the river. Why did you not raise a single finger?
No, Ninar, disagree with you here, because then तो reclaim नहीं कर पाएंगे. वो तो कास्ट बोलते रहेंगे कि डिस्टिंक्टली हिंदू है. अगर हमको याद दिलाना है कि भाई भोसड़ी के ये डिस्टिंक्टली हिंदू या डिस्टिंक्टली इंडियन नहीं है, तब हमको कास्ट बोलना पड़ेगा हर इन चीजों में.
Finger when this was happening. What happened to you? These are your people, Bengalis, Hindu Bengalis. And many of you, where I come from.
I'm sorry, I interrupted so many times.
Enlightening line for me.
Yeah,
police, headed by a communist government. Unarmed people, who fought back with bows and arrows made from branches of trees to save their lives, save their women. At the launch of my book in Delhi, Professor Vivek Debroy was there, and he said the most enlightening line for me. He said, as much as Deep is blaming the West Bengal government for what happened, I will point a finger at the Kolkata bhadralok. I will say that what were you doing when this massacre was happening? Okay, there was a press gag. Okay, the government of the day can force the press not to publish something, and the press was not how it is today. There was not so much media. There was hardly any television media. There was, a few papers which mostly depended on government ads. So you can have press gag, but surely it's happening in your state. You would know what's happening to almost a
knew.
lakh people. 5, 6, 7,000 of them are being killed, raped, butchered. Their kids thrown into the river. Why did you not raise a single finger when this was happening? What happened to you? This
Barbarika Smriti, let me tell you an insane fact, okay? If you have read How I Became a Hindu by Sitaram Goel, there was a time in Kolkata. Today, though, the Marwaris are mostly Trinamool supporters. So there was a time when Sitaram Goel was living in Kolkata, the Marwaris, the businessmen, the CEOs were all commies. So, in fact, there's a hangout that Sitaram Goel and Ram Swarup get called to, okay? Sitaram Goel is still basically a leftist. Ram Swarup is already on the right. So they were invited at a Marwari friend's house who ran a business, who was a far left commie, and he had a raging, rabid debate with Ram Swarup on economics. Okay.
These are your people, Bengalis, Hindu Bengalis. And many of you, where I come from, Jadavpur, currently it's like a solidly upper middle class area. But Jadavpur has a refugee history. Much of South Kolkata today, where the real estate prices have really gone up, has a refugee history. It's in the entire South, most of South Kolkata that refugees came and settled. Later on, with time, they made something of their lives, and those areas came up. But people in South Kolkata, people where I come from, same people, less fortunate, lesser in caste, they were being butchered. They did not have your luck, and you kept quiet. So and this happened in 78. So the full force of 34 years of left rule had not afflicted the Bengalis yet, but nobody spoke. So Mr. Vivek Debroy told me, please question the Bengali bhadralok. And who is that Bengali bhadralok? The Bengali bhadralok, if you draw a line through time, is Navakrishna Dev, who had diluted Bengal's most loved religious festival as a way to please Lord Clive. Who is the Bengali bhadralok? He is not just your Kolkata communist who is getting turned off by seeing a saffron sadhu protesting against Arjikor rape and murder. He is your congressman. He is your leftist. He is, through time, people who have deracinated our faith.
Fuck.
I said,
So this is a this is a rant directly against Bhadraloks. Are Deepda never told us about this. Holy shit. Fuck. Are we rallying? we are having a tag team match against Bhadraloks. What's happening? By the way, guys, Brahman Boy to Kasto just, okay? But holy shit.
in the middle of the speech several times that I do not know. I seriously do not know, because
Fuck.
when did it turn this way? When did debates, questions, valid questions about religious practices, about discrimination within our people, about taking great leaps of thought, about opening up of our religion, which was always open to begin with, about questioning traditionalists, turn into or make Bengalis into this deracinated, self-loathing, always looking towards the West lot of people? I do not know. It did not begin definitely with the communists. There's a joke that
Kwasan, I don't have anger for you for this comment. I have sympathy for you. You are getting a bit of history wrong, okay? It's, I think philosophically, it's not the character of anything to remain united unless there is a threat, okay? So when the threat becomes evident, remember, when the threat does become evident, then everything gets united automatically, okay? And to justify this, we are the Indian right wingers are very used to saying this. No, why were we never united when the Islamic invasions were happening and stuff? Why was there so much infighting? There was no concept of we. There was no infighting. There was no us back then. Okay, we had a common culture, but we did not know that we are supposed to be even united. Okay, some people had good friends on the other side of the aisle. Some people did not, and everyone thought of everyone as just another outsider, because up until the Islamic invasions, whoever came settled. Okay, the dialogue, the justification of settler colonialism that was given by Ashutosh Gowadikar through the mouth of Hrithik Roshan in Jodha Akbar was actually done by other people. That हम तो लुटेरे नहीं है, हम तो यहाँ आए थे, हमको मोहब्बत हो गया एटसेट्रा इस जमीन से एंड हम कभी लौटे नहीं एटसेट्रा. तो those were the things done by everyone else before the Islamic invasion. So everyone thought, okay, just another invasion. There will be some politics and we'll go about our ways. Read any commie historian to right-wing historian, read any history, and you'll know that one of the main features of pre-Islamic India was that whenever there's a war between or battle between two kings, the lives of the common people is not doesn't change overnight. Okay, no one gives a shit. Maybe in long run, in 5-6 years, there are better or worse economic policies and stuff for which a kingdom may go to hell or improve and stuff. But overnight, that just because your king lost and all of a sudden you are raped, killed, and threatened to convert and stuff, ये सब चुतियापा कभी नहीं होता था. I've read it in different sources, including Nihar Ranjan Rai, a famous Bengali historian as well, who has written a book called Bangali Itihash. Okay, the book has a foreword by Jodhunath Sarkar. So, as let's say, as evidence of what I'm claiming, also read the Federalist Papers, one of the very important, most important documents in the history of the founding of USA. Okay, this is the same argument being made by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, James Madison, that the claim was that in 1776 USA as a country is born, but by 1781 the anti-federalists, including Thomas Jefferson, are saying that what's the point of this united one country? Why can't we live according to our own rules? Because different regions and different cultures have different views and stuff, different ways of life. What's the point of this one gigantic centralized authorized authoritarian sort of a country which actually has a potential of becoming a dictatorial state that will rule over all states with a lot of iron fist and stuff? Why not have 3-4 countries called North USA, East USA, South USA, different confederacies, or have, I mean, all the states be different countries? What's the problem with that? That book is full of arguments explaining to them in 1781 the same things that we today think should have been understood by our people in 800 AD, 900 AD, that no, there might arise some problems if you don't stay even politically united. It does not fucking matter that you are culturally united. Okay, so there was cultural unity between those Americans as well in 1781, right? They were all white, they were all Anglo-Saxon, they were all Protestants. Even they did not want to unite politically. Alexander Hamilton, John Jay were writing these papers called Federalist Papers just to convince them, to request them that idiots, don't break up this country, you have to stay united. And then they gave argument after argument after argument. So what I'm pointing out to you is that it's not obvious to humanity, to men, to mankind in general, that you have to be united. Okay, so don't blame our ancestors all that much for not being united, because don't think no one had a clue. It didn't really come to anyone's mind that we'll have to be united as a country in order to prevent this threat. Anyone who says that, I've come to realize, does not have a proper reading of history.
As the riot after riot are happening in Bangladesh today as we speak, and many of them are not even being spoken about because the Yunus government has come down very heavily on anybody who's reporting atrocities on Hindus. People in Kolkata, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing it, are looking at Iran. They're looking at Lebanon. In the 70s, 60s, 70s, there was this very famous slogan, Bhule jabo baper naam, bhulbo na Vietnam. As in, I'm willing to forget my father's name, but I won't forget Vietnam. Okay, so when did internationalism, looking at yourself as a global citizen, become about hating yourself, hating your own? I said I do not know, because when I was growing up in Kolkata, we had these two binaries. You're either you did not really have Hindu Muslim. You had a Bengali and a non-Bengali. So there were two kinds of people you grew up with. Your own were Bengalis. Those who were not your own, who spoke a different tongue, were non-Bengalis. Very interestingly, I think it doesn't happen anymore, but when I was growing up, people who spoke Hindi were referred to as Hindustani, as if we are not Hindustanis, So anybody who's...
Yeah. Hindustani classical music as opposed to Carnatic classical music. So North India is Hindustan. Carnatic classical is, I guess, Dravidistani and something. Just yesterday, again, I had this discussion with Mystery Sociologist, and this is very important, guys, that after, even like when we were in school and stuff, even up until that point, even when I was in college, the one last thing that Bengalis thought of themselves as better than Marwaris, etc. In Marwaris of Kolkata, better than them for the reason that Bengali women were progressive. They wore jeans and stuff. They could work. They could have a job and stuff. But Marwari women, girls who were highly educated, even went to Lady Brabourne College or Bhavanipur Gujarati Education Society, good institutions, good qualifications. But after marriage, they spent their lifetimes apparently under the ghungat, tied up to the kitchen stove inside their gigantic mansion. What's that life? What woman would want that life? At least we Bengalis are not like that. Now the tables have turned. The turntables have turned. So now there are no jobs for Bengali women, and those Marwari women are running their own fucking companies. Even now they are progressive as well. अब तुम्हारे पास ना है भोसरी के पैसा, ना है प्रोग्रेसिव दिखाने का कुछ काम, अब क्या करोगे? It's complete checkmate.
Spoke Hindi was Hindustani. Anybody who came from South was Madrasi, and we had pejorative terms for our cousins from the other eastern states, which I'm not going into. So this and I was I was very much part of that culture, and it was very normal. It didn't even seem like discrimination. So if you are a non-Bengali, you are somebody who's not cultured enough like us.
Holy
Whatever
shit.
kind of non-Bengali.
Arey bhai, isn't he going to leave any topics for us? Fuck. See, this is why I told you. The day Bengalis start becoming right-wingers, you are going to see a very different kind of genre.
You are okay. If you're a non-Bengali, you are definitely a casteist and a bigot. If you're a non-Bengali, you are here because Bengal is the place to be. Kolkata is the land of opportunities, culture, Nobel prizes, great films, Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen. Now all of that is a
Divya, to be fair, that's not because of Bengali Hindus.
good thing, and it did not just start when I was growing up. Like I keep saying, it started way back. And yes, there were great thought leaders, fantastic thought leaders who, Mr. Kanchan Gupta, you know him from Twitter. He's senior advisor to the INB ministry. He keeps talking about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He keeps talking about the Brahmo tradition. There's so many traditions of Hinduism.
Yeah.
We benefit.
And interestingly, see, a lot of, true trad conservative. I don't mean trad as a gali here, okay? I do make a distinction between properly casteist trads and non-casteist trads as well. People who do follow properly tradition but don't hate anyone for being from a allegedly lower caste and stuff. But a lot of people don't consider Brahmo Samaj a Hindu, a sect of Hinduism at all, right? They wouldn't consider any Brahmo Samaj a true Hindu. On the other hand, Sabrang, yesterday the link I posted, they are calling Rabindranath Tagore a bigot and saying that he really could not let go of his love for his religion and his native religion, Hinduism, okay, even though he was a Brahmo Samaji. So, bro, if the outgroup says that you are a Hindu, that is my fucking point. Then you are a Hindu.
Benefited from knowing English before the rest of the country.
Ninar, the slogan was Chiner chairman, Amader chairman. That that's one that comes to my mind off the top of my head. China's chairman is our chairman. And my all-time second favorite Bengali movie, Bhutar Bhovishyat, had a hilarious wall art, okay? It was depicting a scene from the 70s Kolkata. And just to do a parody of those times, they wrote Chiner Chowmin, Amader Chowmin. That China's Chowmin is our Chowmin, not China's chairman is our chairman.
Because the English set up shop in Calcutta. We benefited. We had access to foreign thoughts, foreign books, foreign philosophers. But this Nabokhrishna Dev's descendants, not literally descendants, people like him, they soon took to, and they were at best clerks in trading offices run by the British. They soon took to imitating the British. They were known as Brown Sahibs, a term I'm sure you know. They were the original Brown Sahibs. The Latins really came later. They would spend the day being clerks at various trading offices. In the evening, they would dress up, put perfume, and go to the not so fine areas in the city to spend a gala time. They would indulge in alcohol and every kind of meat, and try to ape the Englishmen who were their masters. Okay. So Nabokhrishna Dev, Rai Bahadur, Draw the line forward in time, the Babus and the Babu culture.
Oh,
Draw
fuck.
it still further, your Kolkata bhadralok.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck.
and all these people have also
Arey bhai. I asked him this. I asked him two questions. Okay, during the book launch. One, he kind of skirted past and gave a smile, and I don't exactly remember what he said. I think he said that that your channel is a testament that it's not that hegemony countrymen, etc. I had asked him that would you say the Kolkata Bhadralok elite is a culprit or nonchalant or just indifferent? What was their role in this situation where Bangladeshi Hindus, the atrocities they face, is ignored forever and after? And the other question was, I can't remember.
come up with great books in time, great films, great thoughts. They have not just enriched Bengal, they have enriched India. They have enriched the world sometimes. But somewhere through the pages of history, they have turned to self-loathing. They have embraced the West in such a manner that what is their own, what makes them, they have lost.
Bhai, and on a serious note, this has significant mental health repercussions that no one realizes. Okay, I would bet that since Bengalis are in general poorer than the rest of the country, but if there was equality of wealth, at least among the metropolitans, and Kolkata is not really metropolitan, but if it were a metropolitan like yesteryears, the highest numbers of people going to a therapist's office would probably be from Kolkata, because the Kolkata Bhadralok kids, the kids of the Bhadraloks who have now grown up to become Bhadraloks as well, and commies and seculars and stuff, are suffering from serious mental health disorders, because everything that you could have been proud of growing up has been taken away from you. Your country is bad somehow for having too many rapes. Your government, your state with capital S, is bad for not gifting Kashmir just because if the people wanted Karan, like Arundhati Roy said. And then you had casteism, Sati Pratha. So you are growing up as a kid with nothing to be proud of. Human beings can't work that way. You just can't. You have to be proud of something. You have to emulate something. You can't just emulate or hope. Your parents can't just hope that you emulate some Western lifestyle or Western scholar. Okay, it cannot work that way. You need some significant anchoring, mooring in your mind, heart, brain, wherever, and that's, I think, significantly affecting Kolkata's kids. I don't think it affects anyone below the upper castes of Kolkata, because everyone else is pretty devout Hindu and stuff. Because if not anything, they will do the let's say they will hold different fasts and stuff. They have some association with Hinduism. They do look up to Lord Shiva, at least on some days of the week. So there is some connection with somebody other than just the idea of emulating the West. So, but the Brahman Boidos and Kaistos of Kolkata, the kids they had in the 90s, they have been absolutely fucked.
1971, since we are clubbing West Bengal and Bangladesh, a very interesting experiment took place. It was that to take on the Pakistani army, West Pakistani army, and the West Pakistan establishment for political, to assert themselves politically and culturally, East Pakistan rose under the leadership of a gentleman called Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Hasina's father. So for that period in time, people rose above their immediate religious identity to forge the idea of a country, which you know today as Bangladesh, on the basis of Bangla, broken Bangla. Okay. So at that point in time, people thought that no, we are not Bengali Muslims and Bengali Hindus. We are simply Bengalis. Our national anthem is written by Tagore. Okay. We are enriched by the richness of the Bengali language, Bengali culture. Even if we follow different faiths, much of our culture is the same. So we will not accept imposition of Urdu over Bengali. We will not.
Why did it take from 1947 to 1971 to remember that? Oh, I love Bengali, bro. No. Bangla Bhasha. So you couldn't remember it in 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. You remembered it in 71 that you love Bengali to that extent that you have to leave the Urdu speakers.
Not accept West Pakistani hegemony over us. We will have our own country. And Bangladesh was born with more than considerable help from the Indian army. It is the same Bangladesh where today, and till last year, when I used to go to Bangladesh, I went this year also. I went just before August 5 when Hasina left. You could not openly talk about Urdu because Urdu is that language protesting against which your country was born after much bloodletting. Today, since August 5, Urdu is being welcomed. And I did a story for the print that same West Pakistan or Pakistan today, which was hated, which sent the army to rape and butcher them. The same Pakistan today and the father of the nation, Mr. Jinnah, he's being commemorated in Dhaka, capital city, only recently. Jinnah was spoken about in glorious terms. And I wrote a piece for the print where I write that is Jinnah the new father of the nation replacing Sheikh Mujib in Bangladesh?
Of course,
Is he now going to be a father of the nation for both Pakistan and Bangladesh?
Yeah.
So Bangladesh is turning the clock back in time, in a manner of speaking.
Old
A
school
very
vibe.
distinguished professor in Dhaka University recently gave a speech and it was put out. I put it out and there were others also who put it out, saying that Bangladesh should now turn nuclear and it should look at Pakistan to help it become a nuclear power to counter India.
So you want to become a nuclear state, and your reference point is Pakistan, who does not really have the rights to use their nuclear weapons as they want.
He's saying
भोसड़ी के frame of reference भी चुतिया है बांग्लादेश का.
it's a Dhaka University professor. It's not some rabble rouser on the street. It's a Dhaka University professor who's saying it, and to much aplomb. Okay, so Bangladesh is set in its way. That experiment of 1971, which said that you should rise above your religious identity for a cultural identity, is gone. Okay, it must still be there in some places in Dhaka and elsewhere, but for now, the push is about understanding who you are. The push is about not allowing Durga Puja to happen. The push is about toning down Hinduness.
Abhay, to be fair, the way Bangladesh's science and mechanics work, if they do end up making a nuke, they might point it towards Delhi. It might, by mistake, go off towards Beijing. Who knows?
Don't get fooled by what people are saying otherwise. And here in West Bengal, an independent part of the country, an independent country, the push is about not allowing your Hinduness to come out. A gentleman you do not know, you can oppose the BJP, you can oppose the RSS, but you do not know whether the gentleman is BJP or RSS. Bolaram Basu, you did not know him before you saw his picture and his video opposing Mamata Banerjee, protesting against the rape and murder of a young female doctor in a hospital in Kolkata. Just seeing a man in a saffron cloth with the India flag affects you so much that you are literally willing to suspend your protest because you do not want to be clubbed with that gentleman, Bolaram Basu.
And this is Deep Haldar. A person like Deep Haldar is saying these things on what's basically national media, kind of. And what a time to be alive. What a generation we are, guys.
A friend of mine told me that Mr. Basu reads my books. So I was very happy. I said, oh no, I don't know him, but maybe someday I'll meet him and I'll tell him. My friend, who's a friend, okay, he's not cancelled me. He was aghast. How can you stand with him? I said, I mean, why not? He reads my books. I should be standing. No, but you can't publicly be seen with him because, you stay in Calcutta and you meet all those Calcutta intellectuals. So how can you officially stand with somebody who, much of the city hates and derides? He's a BJP stooge. I said, that's okay. He reads my books. That's fair enough. And I have no problem with his saffron cloth or his holding the national flag. If I get a chance, I'll definitely meet him and say hello. But till we solve this problem, and the problem, I think, there are many Ratanjis there staring at me. I think there are very distinguished people. Bengalis should not be speaking about Bengal alone. I think I'm addressing you also because I'm a Bengali. But Bengalis should not be addressing Bengal alone because what afflicts Bengal today has already started happening in the rest of India. We have started turning away from who we are. And I believe, I don't know about you, I believe that diluting the very essence of Hinduism, and what is the very essence of Hinduism is openness. Diluting perhaps the very essence of Hinduism is not what our great thinkers, religious, cultural, social thinkers told us to do. But how do we retain what we are essentially? Be open and yet not be so open that nothing is left within us, in us, is the crux of the problem. Broken Bengal has not been able to solve it. I do not see a time, at least in the recent months and years, where Bengal will solve this problem because Bengal is far gone. Okay, but it is for the rest of India because it's a problem that afflicts all of us, like I said, in some degree, where we need to question how do we retain who we are without being shut off from other branches of thought, from other ways of living, from even questioning what we are. I think that is the story, hopeless, joyless story of broken Bengal. My only appeal is it should not be the story of the rest of India. Thank you.
Did you see that smile after the speech? That's the smile of a victory. That's the smile of a sixer or a century. Let's see. Is there a Q&A session?
Rising out of the issues in Bangladesh.
Right beside Deep Halder are the pictures of Veer Savarkar and Bal Gangadhar Tilak.
Manifesting through Rohingya migration, immigration. What's really the role that this
Man, if Veer Savarkar had watched this, or if he is watching, if he remembers who he was in his past life, you know how happy he would have been, at least, that a Bengali of Deep Halder stature went to Maharashtra and said these things.
whole thing has played in
This
the
is all Savarkar wanted.
internal conflict in Bangladesh?
Rohingyas are not welcome in Bangladesh. Rohingyas have been kept there under Hasina, but Hasina had in her time spoken about the Rohingya issue to be addressed by the international community.
Rohingya is not welcome in Bangladesh. That this should be a t-shirt slogan.
Whatever I have understood within Bangladesh's civil society, I don't think they want Rohingyas there. They look at it as a problem. So I don't think Rohingyas, every political party may not come out and say this, but the civil society definitely, much of its civil society, except the NGO circuit. So there are many NGOs working within Bangladesh, and there are Bangladeshis who are
NGO circuit se yaad aaya. Sanjeev Sanyal, I think the thing he hates most right after fake intellectuals is the idea of an NGO. He has pointed out so many times that there are actually more total number of NGOs in India is more than the total number of policemen in India. Okay, and the way he makes fun of NGOs in his books and stuff. If he became the premier dictator of India, I think NGOs would definitely disappear.
engaged with such NGOs professionally. So except that circuit, which deals with Rohingyas, I don't think the civil society per se, the mainstream Bangladeshi civil society, looks at Rohingyas very favorably.
You brought up the topic of NGOs, and I know there are always sometimes some NGOs which are looked upon a little suspiciously. But people have been talking A about the deep state and B about also things like the Ford Foundation, which ostensibly worked with Muhammad Yunus. So do you see a connect there? Do you also see it as a deeper conspiracy, or is it just press making a little bit too much out of it?
No, it's not. I have been consistently writing about Bangladesh much before the August 5 crisis happened, where Sheikh Hasina had to flee and come to India. I've been writing about Bangladesh, and let me tell you, sir, January 7, the national elections were held, which brought back Hasina into power. It was a completely rigged election, I have to say this. But anyhow, she came back to power. But before that, American diplomats have been meeting, forget opposition parties like the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Top diplomats, American diplomats have been meeting Jamaat. Okay, and I've written about it, that why are US diplomats meeting Jamaat? Because the Jamaat was barred by the Bangladesh Supreme Court from participating in elections. So what was the point of US diplomats meeting Jamaat? So this is a conspiracy, quote unquote, which goes back in time, not just August 5. So of course there was foreign hand. To what degree and what their motives are conjecture, because we don't, this is deep state, you don't really know. So at least
Abid Sen, tell me something. You're saying Hindus and Muslims in Bangladesh are united against Rohingyas. I've heard that Hindus and Muslims, the Bengali-speaking Hindus and Muslims, are having some sort of trouble with the tribals as well. Is that so as well?
I don't know. I mean, there would be knowledgeable people, but I don't know. But I know this, that not everything was okay in Bangladesh since October last year, when the American diplomats rather openly started talking to every kind of people in Bangladesh's political spectrum, even people who were not allowed within the political spectrum because of their extremist views. So why would you do that? So yeah, there is of course a foreign hand.
Sure. Moving to Bangladesh-India ties, for a country where, as you rightly said, we played more than a larger role in the creation of Bangladesh. I think our ties have gone through mixed. We also have very strong commercial ties, both in terms of import-export, textile sector, etc. So where do you think the trouble really started in the recent times? It seemed to be actually going on a much better strain, and we suddenly seem to have come downhill on the diplomatic relationships.
So again, this is a problem which I have spoken about. On the face of it, India and Bangladesh were friends under Sheikh Hasina. But if you had gone to Bangladesh like I did, you'd see that in the civil society of Bangladesh, there was intense and there is intense hatred for India. They see India as a big brother. They see India, of course, as a Hindu majority country.
And what he's saying is very, very significant, guys. Because note, he's saying that the civil society of Bangladesh hates India with all their fucking guts for just being, I guess, politically bigger power player and stuff. So imagine what the non-civil society of Bangladesh hates India to what extent and for what, for which reasons. So basically, everyone in Bangladesh hates India.
Think Indians, Hindu Indians hate Muslim Indians. They see this as a, as a country which literally runs their show. Hasina was known in Bangladesh as Modi's dictator. Okay, that's the political language that was used, so I can use it. And there was intense hatred for Indians in much of, not everybody, but much of Bangladesh's civil society, which has been there for a very long time. And even during the time of Hasina, she could not do anything about it. And I think the fact that she stuck on to power for so long, and with at least one election which I saw, which was completely unfair, quote unquote, she it intensified. So I don't know what fueled what, whether Hasina staying on in power made Bangladesh's civil society hate India more because they saw in it India's hand, in letting Hasina continue in Bangladesh, or it was anyway there to begin with because of not just religiosity, also the fact that they think that India has this advantage in every which way over Bangladesh, which they are not comfortable with anymore. So there's this need to in the civil society to assert itself, which was
Yeah, well pointed out, Avinav. The civil society of Bangladesh has started hating India, especially more after 2014, because the civil society of Bangladesh is entirely commie-secular.
there even during Hasina's time. Some of their most famous, most popular bloggers and YouTubers, if you see what they have to say, read what they have to say, hear them, if you follow the language, you know there's intense India hate, and right through the last decade.
So Deep, I know, and I spoke to Sanjeev once, and he said that you really have studied the whole Bangladesh from its birth. And like you said, from a cultural identity, when did Bangladesh transition into this religious identity, and when did that become an India hatred issue?
So, like I said, it was an interesting experiment that happened in 1971. But I think, let me.
No, Boishalidi, the civil society is not really Islamic communist. They are truly secular commies. The rest of Bangladesh is probably that.
Go back in time. This is something I had to speak, but it slipped my mind. Many people do not know, but the first law and labor minister of independent Pakistan, okay, was a gentleman who was a Bengali Dalit Hindu. Okay, so this gentleman, Mr. Mandal, Jogendranath Mandal, he stayed back in East Pakistan after partition, and he chose Jinnah's Muslim League over Nehru Gandhi's Congress. And his reasoning was that, look, upper caste Hindus discriminate against lower caste Hindus. Upper caste Hindus, the Brahminical social order, also discriminate against the Muslims. So the lower caste Hindu.
Yeah, Brahminical social order ka chutiya pa. So I grew up in a commie family. I didn't know what even my Gotra was, Sampradaya was. I found out all those things after I became a right winger. Okay, I started tracking a bit of my lineage. So then I came to know that there were people around us, even from our caste, who used to use casteist slurs for the Namashudras. Okay, the lowest castes, which are the majority, I think, among the Bangladeshi Hindus. Okay, so again, like every right winger in India today knows that it's not just. It has never been just Brahmins hating everyone else or directly the Shudras and stuff. Everyone fucking hated everyone who was of a lower status. And what did their hate entail? Did it mean peeing in the mouth, or did it mean a different exclusive group? There are degrees to that, and all of it might not be. Society might not be able to eliminate all of those discriminations, but what I'm pointing out is that everyone looked down upon everyone at the first fucking chance.
Hindus and the Muslims are brothers. So there's no need for you to go to West Bengal, because we're talking about partition from this side, just because the upper caste Hindus are going. So much of the lower caste Hindus stayed back in East Pakistan. Now soon, and this gentleman was made the first law and labor minister of independent Pakistan, Jogendranath Mandal. He's lost in the pages of history.
First law minister of Pakistan. Yeah. So Abid Sen, you are saying that Bangladesh commies are mostly Hindus, but then what about all these, let's say, Muslim secular commies and intellectuals and stuff? Let's say all the Bangladeshi rock musicians, authors, professors, etc. All of them hate India, and none of them are really Islamists. They are absolutely gaga with all their Bengali friends, Bengali Hindu friends and stuff. They are celebrating Durga Puja. They are condemning the attacks on the Durga Puja pandals and stuff. So they are Muslims.
History somewhere, but it's something, I guess. But soon after, Mr. Mandal saw that Muslim mobs are attacking these very lower caste Hindu, his constituency people, not as lower caste Hindus, but simply as Hindus. So that idea.
Yes, Ajju. Very well pointed out that this Brahminical patriarchy bogey was a British colonial legacy, while the propagators of this theory themselves were some brown coolie Brahmins before independence independence of India. Now, more importantly, hence we are not going to fucking let go of the term caste. तुमको कास्ट करके इंडिया और हिंदुइज्म को गाली देना है, वीक करना है, तो भोसरी के हम तुमको दिखाएंगे कि तुम कोलकाता में बैठ के क्या क्या उखाड़ रहे हो, ठीक है? यहाँ पे तो कास्ट कॉन्वर्सेशन नहीं होता है, कास्ट बेस्ड पार्टी है ही नहीं, किसी को लगता ही नहीं कि मोरिझापी कास्ट मैसाकर था। तो अब हम दिखाते हैं कि टॉलीवुड में क्यों ब्राह्मण बोई दो कास्तों के अलावा कोई नहीं जाता है, एकेडेमिया में, स्पोर्ट में, एंटरटेनमेंट में, पॉलिटिक्स में, और हर ईच एंड एवरी फकिंग पॉलिटिकल डेथ इन अ राइट इज ऑफ अ लोअर कास्ट हिंदू और लोअर कास्ट मुस्लिम। ऐसा तुमने कास्टिज्म सॉल्व कर लिया है कि भोसरी के जो कास्टिस्ट स्टेट का जो एंड रिजल्ट होता वही होता है भोसरी के बंगाल में भी। तो लाइक मिस्टर सोशियोलॉजिस्ट हैड सेड इन वन ऑफ आवर बेंगाली लाइव स्ट्रीम्स दैट যারা হিন্দু ধর্মের ক্ষীর খেয়েছিল তারাই হিন্দু ধর্মকে এখন খিস্তি করছে। দ্য পিপল হু গট অল দ্য বেনিফিটস অফ বিং ইন দ্য আপার এচেলন্স অর লেটস সে দ্য আপার স্ট্যাটাসেস অফ হিন্দু সোসাইটি, দে নাও রিমেইন ইন दोज अपर स्टैटसेस by hating Hinduism, by hating India. ये तो हम नहीं होने देंगे अब। No more, bro.
Of a unity between Muslims and lower caste Hindus, political unity, social unity failed. And soon after, Jogendranath Mandal resigned and came to West Bengal, where he died, and he tried to revive his political career in India, but he could not. He lost an election. He died unsung. Now, somewhat similar thing happened in 71. So you rose above your religious identity to forge an identity based on common culture, language, eating habits, all of that. And it would be unfair for me to say that it did not continue. In fact, spatterings of it still continue. But I think the religious identity somewhere overshadows the cultural, linguistic identity that you want to forge. So yes, there have been periods in time politically for Bangladesh where they have been friends, quote unquote, with India. Under Hasina, definitely there was strategic friendship, but that was the friendship between two states. The people, on the other hand, the civil society, left much to be desired. So you have, like it happens in our metro cities, big cities also. So you have a class of people who mix well, and there may be interreligious marriages, and there are films and music where cultures come together. But that is so minuscule in percentage that people, especially people from West Bengal who go to Dhaka often, film stars and singers and songwriters who go and perform, so they see those spaces and they think that everything is kosher. In Bangladesh, it's not, because the civil society is very different. So right through, it's like in East Pakistan, it happened, with Jogendranath Mandal and how he realized his mistake. I think even after the birth of Bangladesh, where they spoke about a common cultural identity over religious identity, it did not really sit well for much in time. Soon after 71, Sheikh Mujib was himself murdered by his army. And there have been various flashpoints. And it's a continuing thing, sir. I mean, this migration that never stopped. Like I said, partition stopped on the western part. It never really stopped in the eastern part. Why did it not stop? Why is the percentage of Hindus there 7.9%? Where did the Hindus go? They were either killed, converted, or they fled. So I think it has always this whole idea of a secular, linguistic, cultural identity over a religious identity. I think it's more of an idea than a practical thing on the ground.
Did the whole issue of migration, NRC, CA, was that another flashpoint coming in which the Bangladesh people saw as an irritant?
It did not fuel riots in that sense. It definitely became so. People I spoke to, they were publicly very uncomfortable, especially the Bangladeshi Hindus, because that's another way of another reason for the Bangladeshi Muslim to discriminate. Oh, you have India now to help you, right? So here they were trying to feel as if they are part of the society. And then India comes up with a law, and while some of them must have been privately happy about it, publicly they did not express that happiness too much when I was speaking to them. But did they lead to more tension between communities? No, the tension was already there. Okay, it was already there. India hate is very rampant.
Okay, right before the Halder presents his next point, Nandish is bring out something very important here, very significant. That yes, kids today are being rebellious by being traditional. It's absolutely the case. It's the counterculture to be religious, at least in the cities. It never went out of fashion outside the cities, of course. At least in the core urban areas, at least in Mumbai, Pune, maybe not Pune, Probably Mumbai and Bengaluru, as far as I've come to understand it, even Delhi, definitely Kolkata. Okay, so in these spaces, it's definitely a counterculture, and it's going to be more so. And you see, since I come from a liberal leftist rock music, Western movie kind of a background, I have always known that I'm part of the counterculture anyway. But what I never realized is that people who always were part of the counterculture had to face problems. Um, I guess the highest amount of problem I faced was someone making fun of my long hair, someone saying that what's this rock music and stuff? You should listen to Baul music or Rabindranath. That's the extent of it. The amount of thinking and let's say, I mean, self censoring I do today to remain in this counterculture. Today I realize that yes, this is what it feels like to be truly part of a counterculture. Everything I post on WhatsApp statuses, Instagram statuses, whether I share it on Facebook story or not, what I post on Facebook, in what tone, for every fucking thing, I have to remember who all are going to read it, what's the tone of it, what's someone going to say about it 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Are they friends with my parents? Do they know where my parents work and stuff? That's what it feels like to be truly part of a counterculture when you don't have the privileges of being in the mainstream. So yeah, we are in the counterculture. We are the punk rock folks of India today.
You have in common parlance, we say
Nina, I don't have any comment on it because I don't know the exact story of Romeo and Juliet. I just know that they were a couple that whose parents did not want them to get married and stuff.
things to each other, right? We do it in every society. So in say Dhaka University campus or elsewhere in Dhaka, if you have to sort of even jokingly attack a Bangladeshi Hindu, if you happen to be a Bangladeshi Muslim, you will call him an Indian or a raw agent. So it's not even sometimes a verbal attack. It's sometimes a joke. It's often a joke to call a Bangladeshi Hindu a Indian by a Bangladeshi Muslim. So those fault lines have always been there.
Looking ahead, and one of the things which we always have as a fear is, will one of our neighbors become closer to China? Right? It's been a fear when it comes to Sri Lanka, when it comes to Bangladesh, Pakistan is already there. What's your view? Because Bangladesh, anyways, even under Hasina, supported BRI, and now do you think it will be another reason for Bangladesh to go closer to China?
Politically, Bangladesh is in a very, very weird space right now because if you have been following news, if you have been seeing the headlines from the past 2-3 days, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, which is the arch rival, it's like BJP Congress, arch rival of Sheikh Hasina's Army League, some of their leaders are saying that you should not ban Army League, okay, and you should not call them anti-national, etc. And because there is a threat from the Jamaat to become a political force. So Jamaat does not have a big vote share. Jamaat had come to power with the BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party. But right now, what's happening is that I think the Jamaat would want the Yunus government to carry on for a while, so that they can organize themselves politically, and they can also club other directly Islamic parties, and they can push out the BNP. So the Jamaat and BNP alliance is already over. So now it's about who has power. So to that end, whoever will help, China will help or America will help, I think they will side with. But even during Hasina's time, I think Hasina balanced beautifully between India and China. It's not as if Hasina kept China apart. But China immediately becoming, so I think it's about which direction their religious, their political space veers towards. So, and which becomes more powerful. So I think, like I said, the BNP is okay with now with even an Army League to be there. But so you'll have to wait and watch.
So Abhay, thanks for the question. So I was taking Bangla Pokho, I think, a lot more seriously than they need to be taken seriously, I think. Because I thought that everyone finds it relevant, everyone has some grievance about Bengal's economy and stuff, and it's only natural that people who don't follow economics, geopolitics, or politics in general to misdirect their hatred, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if that if all that hatred is pointed just towards rich Marwaris and stuff. But I'm very, very, very surprised to see that every Bangla Pokho Facebook post, not just by the official Facebook page, any member of the Bangla Pokho, any distant supporter of the Bangla Pokho, only gets fucking ridiculed to death almost in every post. The comment section is absolutely hilarious. people are making insane. I mean, it's 90% of those comments are better jokes than any comedian in USA. Okay, absolute trolling is going on of the Bangla Pakho idea and the premise. So I'm very surprised. I think what we discussed in the last day's live stream with Mysterious Sociologist, that uh, right before BJP came to power in 2014, it was actually cool among us Bengalis also growing up to make fun of in the shambles of a society that we have in Bengal today. That Bengalis say ye nahi ho paega, wo nahi ho paega. We Bengalis are like this and stuff. Bengal is like this. Kolkata is bad, etc. We used to say these things pretty casually. Okay, we got defensive and insecure after 2014. I think that cat is out of the bag. That ship has sailed now. We have had enough. We have given up hope. We have given up hope by 3 coffees and 3 hours of sleep. So I think people are frustrated enough to not even now take Bangla Pakko seriously. I think everyone is desperately convinced, absolutely convinced that at least so many people trolling the Bangla Pakko Facebook page, every post and stuff, that Bengal's main problem is its economy and it has nothing to do with Marwadis and stuff. Because only last day, the post I shared about some guy saying that why are there no Bhumi Putras, Bengali footballers in Bengal's clubs and stuff. I don't know why I clicked it. I clicked it just to I thought, let's see the stupidity of Bengali people. Okay, lo and behold, there are no stupid people in the comment section. Everyone is even pointing out that what the fuck has this got to do with ethnicity or mother tongue? You play good football, you get selected. Why should a businessman invest in bad footballers just because they are Bengali? And the Bengal team who lost to even Tamil Nadu, why should they get any chance? 99. I'm only saying 99 for I mean political correctness sake, because I did not actually find any comment which was opposing or which was supporting that post. Okay, and I'm going on seeing post after post like this. Okay, I think probably especially after Arjikor, there is some probably algorithm issue as well, which I have spoken about many times, that once you shift a little towards one side these days in any political spectrum, bro, you are done. You are going to go heavily into that side, because there used to be so many viewers I had during, let's say, up until like 1.5 years, 2 years back. Then they got into a bit of the commie algorithm. Okay, maybe they were socialists at heart and stuff, believed that yes, Hindutva is great, but why are Adani and all are, I mean, running everything? Why are these Gujaratis running everything? So I've seen with my own eyes that they are now completely in the commie algorithm, and could tag me in absolutely random commie posts and saying things like, what would you say to this and stuff. So, and I have lost so many non-Bengali Agarwal friends even, like, who voted for BJP up until 2019, who now hate BJP with all their guts, because guess why? They are convinced that BJP is a evil Brahminical party who is going to bring back casteism in India. So they maybe clicked in something remotely left leaning, and that's when their life changed. So if you today click on something remotely anti-Trinamool, you'll probably end up in Desai Deepak videos.
Yeah, just a question to add there. The whole terror network is a concern for India, and it's believed that the eastern side has become better in the last few years. Is that another flashpoint?
It's a huge flashpoint, because one thing Sheikh Hasina did was keep many of the terrorists at bay. But if you see, I mean, the caretaker to the Bangladesh government, Mr. Yunus, since he has been in charge of affairs, from Ansarullah Bangla team leader to every kind of radical outfit is getting emboldened in Bangladesh. People are being let out of jails. So I think that's a huge concern for India. Huge security concern.
Just one question from one of our audience.
So Muhammad Yunus is like Bane. Bane freed all those people from the prison. And remember, all your commie friends who like Christopher Nolan so much, who like Dark Knight Rises, bro, they didn't get the fucking point of the movie. I, as a commie, got the point of the movie because of the things Bane was saying. It seemed like he was being a sort of a leftist, far leftist, Maoist guy. And Batman hates all these people. What the fuck? Am I on the wrong side of history? Oh my god, I'm a leftist. I'm not a good person. I did question myself back in those days. But every leftist Bengali likes Christopher Nolan, likes Dark Knight Rises, doesn't understand that Christopher Nolan is hating the idea of leftist revolutions and emptying jail cells.
Came in just now was, What's your view on the educational system there, especially because we heard that in the post-COVID period, there was this whole de-vaccination, etc., which happened and all of that. So was it got to do more with either a sentiment or was it education? What was really the reason these sort of things took root?
One of the shortcomings of the Hasina administration was that, and I don't know if it was even possible in a Muslim majority country like Bangladesh, was the sprawling of madrasas across the country. So I think there is a class in Bangladesh where you take both. Okay, so where you take madrasa education and you also take Western education or modern education. So this mixing of hard religiosity.
Okay, let's make Anshul Sharma happy. So Anshul or Anshul ji, we don't talk about Jagannath Mondal too much from this channel because see, we are not a big channel, right? It's sort of a close friends get together hangout that it operates like our live stream. So every one of us knows everything about Jogendranath Mondal there is to say. Okay, so since I'm not really making a video on Jogendranath Mondal, hence we are not talking about him. Other than that, I have read out like a sort of an audio book, his entire letter in 2-part videos because it's such a gigantic fucking letter. His grievances to the Pakistan government say, why don't you listen to me? Why are you killing my people in the police stations and stuff? That's the tone of his letter. So that has been my contribution towards educating people about Jagannath Mondal. And on Bhaggu, yes. Now Bhaggu is a woke college. I had no idea. The only thing I know about Bhaggu is that Bhaggu has forever been famous among men of Kolkata for having very, very attractive women. Same as Carmel School. Carmel, right? What's the one in near Jadavpur Thana? That's Carmel, right? Yeah. The Carmel, it's not like the women were distinctly beautiful just for going to Carmel, or Carmel distinctly gathered beautiful women or something. But that was the only school who allowed a single ponytail. That's why I think the girls in that school looked more attractive.
City with modernity has been afflicting Bangladesh for a while now. So it is something Hasina failed to check. And also Mr. Zakir Naik, a Bangladeshi intellectual told me that ever since Zakir Naik came into the scene globally, he told you that you can be both modern and radical at the same time. So you can couch the radical in you by appearing to be modern, by having a well-paying job, by being able to speak the English language a certain way, by dressing up, looking a certain way. So he gave you the toolkit to be both. So since that happened, I think serious damage was done to its civil society.
So you mentioned about the possibility that whoever helps Bangladesh in terms of its next steps, having been a supporter of that country, what's your view? Should India still continue to play a role in building the way Bangladesh wants to rebuild itself?
See, Bangladesh can't do without India. You spoke about commerce. So if Bangladesh still is not at a space where it can openly come and say that we are Pakistan to you. We are the new Pakistan. I think India should definitely push.
अरे बांग्लादेश can't operate without India. ये तो बांग्लादेश के अलावा सबको पता है. तो अभय, yeah, Bhaggu is popular for fashion and college fest. Yes. And even MTV Rock On first season's audition was held in Bhaggu. I had gone to that audition with not my original band because my main band was a metal band. They would not accept us anyway. I went there with a band with which we did just 2 or 3 rehearsals and did some Bollywood covers and stuff.
Back against what it thinks is not in its interest. So commerce should come at like Mr. Modi has said that he has mainstreamed the plight of Hindus and he has come under attack from within India, sections of all media, etc. I think it's a very good thing that you should keep pushing them back on whatever you think is not in your interest. So India should keep looking at Bangladesh. I think it's my view. Keep the channels of business open, but also tell them directly on their face what India's concerns are.
So we'll move a little to the West Bengal or to our part of Bengal. And I think one of the things, and I think among some of our friends, so I'll take that as my second question maybe. But so West Bengal was definitely the commercial hub. I mean, Calcutta was.
Good question. Confused, yes. Dada Bhadralok definition. What is the definition of the Kolkata Komi Bhadralok upper caste? Because he's saying that he's a Janudhari Brahman who does puja part in his home as well. You are a Bhadralok, even if you're not a Komi, if you are a Congress or Trinamool supporter or come from such a family, okay? Basically liberal, secular and stuff.
One of the best cities in India. And it is now on most of the economic indicators.
But also, not just if you are a CPM or, Trinamool or Congress supporter. You have to have the consumption patterns of the Bhadralok, okay? Which means going to the elite institutions, having watching similar kinds of sports as the bhadralok. I mean, like, let's say your favorite sport is has to, if you're a bhadralok, is probably football, and you watch only foreign leagues and stuff. You probably, if you are a bhadralok, you have gone to some elite institution, probably La Martiniere, South Point and stuff, and you think badly of Hindutva, or if not, at least recently you used to think so, then you have had a bhadralok upbringing. And another another sign is that you only have friends in the Brahman, Boidya, and Kaisto castes.
Already amongst the lowest now. And you said this, that it's not just because of the communist regime of 25 years. So what's led to this, economic downfall of
This
60,
idea,
70
this
years?
is definitely due to the communists. No debate there. I think this whole idea that you could have different yardsticks of it is something that I think, to a certain degree, not to a bad degree, afflicts your community as well. But I think this whole idea that you can have a different yardstick from anybody else, that just because you are culturally superior, you can get away with not earning money, has afflicted Bengal. And how? I mean, there's no other way of putting it. So Bengal has very different.
अरे भाई दीप हल्दर क्या खा के इस स्पीच में आया. But Ajju is talking about Singhania Academy. Is this Lakshmipat Singhania Academy? We met some of their guys and girls in TTIS Fest in Kolkata for the first time. We were fascinated that their trousers basically looked like a cool jeans. I was so fucking jealous of their uniform. Boishali is saying also, Niranjan, you have to be like Brahmo-esque in the body culture, not by you. Yeah. Yes.
Different yardsticks. Kolkata has very see, Bengal and Kolkata are not the same. The rest of Bengal and Kolkata are not the same. If you talk to a Bengali outside Kolkata, chances are she or he will intensely hate somebody like me, because most of the rest of West Bengal hates Kolkata. Okay, but unfortunately, Kolkata is where it is, because everybody also wants to come to Kolkata from Bengal. If she or he is not trying to come out, so Kolkata is what dictates terms of engagement for the rest of Bengal.
Yes.
So I think this whole,
guys, this is such an important point that so many Bengali right wingers disagree with me on. एक पावर सेंटर एक ही होता है भाई. तुम जितना ग्राउंड लेवल कनेक्शन, वो मास मूवमेंट, मास लीडर मरवा लो भाई, नैरेटिव हर जगह में, हर स्टेट में, हर कंट्री में एक दो सिग्निफिकेंट जगह से ही आता है. तो कोलकाता का नैरेटिव, आई मीन वेस्ट बंगाल का नैरेटिव कोलकाता ही बनाता है, कोलकाता ही बनाएगा हमेशा के लिए. तो तुमको कन्विंस करना पड़ेगा अगर नैरेटिव में जीतना है तो. नहीं तो भोसरी के 15 इयर्स बंगाल में भी राज कर लो, फिर बोलो कि भाई सिस्टम तो उनका है. तो अगर वो नहीं करना है तो यू हैव टू कन्विंस द कोलकाता एलिट. पावर ट्रांसफर आइदर घटिया रेवोल्यूशन से होता है, जो कि इफेक्टिव नहीं होता है फिर भी, या फिर ग्रेजुअली ट्रांसफर होता है थ्रू एलिट्स. ठीक है,
yardstick of somehow being able to prove your superiority to your fellow non-Bengali by saying you're culturally superior while not making too much money for yourself or being a sloth at work.
What's this phenomenon called, guys? Asceticism.
Is a direct is something that has been passed on by the communists.
Is it also because somewhere it was you had a lot of industry there, but was it because of the communists that there's so much overdependence on agriculture, and that's really the problem? I mean,
that's also part of the reason. But I think this whole trade unionism that they brought in, this trade union movement that led to militarizing your trade union, that all those slogans which have been immortalized in some of our finest films, led to flight of industry. So you can actually trace it back to the time communists. There were troubles before, but also those troubles were also, communist troubles. It's also the shade of red, because Naxalism took place before that. So it was.
Arey, Deep Haldar. Arey, I had no idea he was going to say these things. We would have such a. Our conversation was very fun. It was along these lines, but I didn't know he was going to come out of the closet.
So even before the communists came to power, so late 69, 68, 69, that's when, if you see, the flight of industries began, and the economic indicators started dipping. So it's because of them, and rise of an political ideology, socio-political ideology, which was very antithetical to the idea of doing business, ease of doing business. So the ease of doing business was taken away.
Sure. Coming more to the political situation, I think West Bengal seems to be a state a little peculiar, where political violence is probably unprecedented, and it's almost legitimized under whatever current regime. I mean, we've seen different regimes, different parties in many states in this country, but political violence seems to be much more sort of a part and parcel. I mean, why is that so? What's different about Bengal and Bengal politics?
It's very deep question, sir. I wish I had the answer, but it has all. Bengal has been an unbelievably violent state. There's this stereotype of Bengalis.
Oh, shit.
Lazy, big talkers, always talking about books and films and all of that.
This is like a compilation of all our live streams with Mysterious Sociologist.
But underneath, we are a very, very, very violent lot.
Holy
right from the next.
भाई मैंने कितनी बार बोला है कि वो वीक बंगाली मैन का कैरिकेचर फिर जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी में है, क्योंकि भोसरी के हर कोई तो किसी ना किसी को मार ही रहा है. अभी मार रहे हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लिए, बाद में कोई और कारण के लिए मार लेंगे. मारपीट तो चल रहा है. तो it's not like we are a peaceful society.
Actual time to even before, to the communist times, to now Mamata Banerjee's time, unspeakable violence has taken place. So to blame Mamata Banerjee or simply the communists would be wrong. I think part of the problem is that we are not openly, for very long, we have not been an openly communal or a casteist state.
Oh, fuck.
It's not very.
Arey, he's not going to let anything go or what? Arey, see this, the Bengal is here. Please translate this phrase for the non-Bengalis here. What he's describing has been described in one phrase by Mysterious Sociologist countless times, which is "Ghomtar tolay khemta." Okay, that's what Bengalis do and get away with.
Very cool to talk about people's caste or people's religion. I mean, with religion you can make out, but people's caste, etc. Because your yardsticks are different. You'd rather talk about your degrees or your knowledge about books and films. But I think that's somewhat at a superficial level. I think we are a very deeply, much else, we are a very deeply casteist and communal and as bigoted as anywhere else.
अरे casteist भी बोल दिया दीप्ता. अरे, oh my god, oh shit. I don't know if Mr. Socialist has watched this.
No, which we do not. We have learned how to hide. So when there are flashpoints in our, like elections or communal violence, what we don't say comes out through that kind of gruesome violence, because we attack each other with a ferocity that will put some of our Eastern and Western brothers to shame.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable level of violence. People hung from trees. Election. I don't see that in the rest of India. Election.
Yeah, and remember, guys, in our one of our earliest live streams with Mysterious Sociologist, we were discussing this, that I had a viewer on my Instagram. I think I had not even started the channel or had just about started the channel. Even before starting the channel, my Instagram had about the College Street Kolkata channel had about 600 followers. Okay, no, even my main personal profile had was gaining some right-wing followers, because Desai Deepak kept sharing everything I tagged him in. Okay, that this page by Desai Deepak in this book is so great and stuff. If I tagged him, he used to share it, and people used to be curious that who is this guy. So there, one day a girl from Jamshedpur had inboxed me saying that, this political violence thing happened in Kolkata, West Bengal. 2 people died. And I said, okay, great. What's up? I didn't say great, of course. I did not react to it too much. And she got very much pissed off with me. That, what? How can you take this so lightly? Why aren't you pissed off? Why aren't you outraged? I said, this is pretty common. And she got even more pissed off with me.
You don't see opposition party workers being hung from trees, which you see in Bengal. So this is not a Mamata Banerjee thing. This has been happening for a while. I think it's because deeply we have not changed, but we have learned how to not talk about it. So this duality in us, where you are still as primitive as perhaps people you attack, but on the face of it, you have learned to couch it in fine words. I think that's to blame.
So, you spoke about your book and then you spoke about the result not really matching your expectation. But there are 2 things which we've seen in many states. One is that generally a regime which comes in is either because you've been able to address an economic problem or a law and order problem. You can take a couple of states. If you take places like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, where law and order was seen to be an issue, you got an administrator who at least put that law and order under control, and that gave him or her a great journey ahead. Under TMC, perceptibly, both of these issues have not been addressed, and yet they seem to be doing politically extremely well. What do you explain the whole rise of TMC and their ability to actually maintain power in West Bengal?
Elections are often about binaries, establishing binaries. So I think one of the binaries that became her political slogan, which I failed to fail to understand the intensity of it is Mamata Banerjee's political slogan of Bangla Nijen Meke Chai, which literally means Bengal wants her own daughter. I think this binary that she managed to establish, and it continues to a degree till now, of the Bengali versus the outsider, is a very powerful binary. Psychologically, I think it really affected that BJP was looked at as a outsider's party, a party that does not understand the ethos of Bengal. I think that, and as a subset, the binary of fascism versus secularism. So when BJP standing for fascist authoritarian force, and Bengalis being generally very secular, liberal-minded. I think these two binaries were very, very important binaries, which even the BJP, I don't think, fully understood. Also, ground control. I think she has a complete control of the ground, especially in the hinterland. And of course, there's been
I don't agree with his first point. I don't think they are factors anymore, at least not during the time he's giving this speech. But the second point is the more important one.
penetration by the RSS and to a certain degree by the BJP. But I think the way she has her party, see, when the left after 34 long years, trounced by Mamata Banerjee, the cadre shifted. Left cadre shifted. Left is now live with some smooth talking young leaders who are YouTube stars, but fail election after election. So the entire cadre shifted. Now some of that cadre shifted to the BJP as well, but I think TMC still has a lot of ground control.
Now they've set up a committee to review 3 criminal laws. So is this fierce federalism, or is this what is the answer? What's your view on that?
Answer is great politics, because every time you do that, you show yourself to be a very strong regional leader, and you whip up regional pride, and you show the central government to be very weak. If you can have instances where a team from CBI is coming, but they're not being able to do anything, and this entire Arjikar investigation, CBI has become a joke. A CPM leader, very popular CPM leader, used a slur on live television. He was chided by the female anchor, saying you can't use such words for the CBI. So every time this happens, I think Mamata Banerjee is emboldened, and also among people there is a sentiment which is latent, which is regional pride over a sense of forced nationalism that's put on you. I think she wins.
Sure. No, we spoke about partition, and I think as
Okay, just for anyone wondering, the remedy to this is not therefore stop doing all those things. The remedy is that yes, keep up with what you're doing anyway. Do these things as well, but do other things as well.
as a state which has gone through that pain multiple times, as you said, right, and continues to go through it. Where do you see the Muslims who stayed back in West Bengal, and where do you see them in terms of their identity, the way they view themselves in today's political situation, and what is your view on the way they're looking at themselves and the state?
I think they should be very happy. But Mamata Banerjee is in power. But there is a very subtle distinction that I see, sir, which is coming, which is, original inhabitants, Muslim inhabitants of West Bengal. Some of them privately, if not publicly, do not like the infiltration from Bangladesh of co-religionists that's happening, because they don't always identify with what's coming in through porous borders. So I think there's a very slight ray of hope there. So it's not, perhaps, though politically you see otherwise, in bloc, the Muslim vote goes to PMC now. But I think socially there is a distinction right now of people coming in versus people who are always there, because it's a very different culture. And also people there are Muslims who have settled in Bengal from Bihar or Uttar Pradesh. There's a fair amount of population there. Even, when I speak to them, I sense that there is a bit of an unease with people coming in from Bangladesh, because even socially they are different from people who are coming in. Some of the people who are coming in. So, but otherwise, I think it's a state where they're fairly.
Yeah, Avinav, this is true, because some Bengali, at least I guess the most Bengali Muslims of Kolkata, not the ones coming in from Bardhaman and stuff, the people who have been here since before partition and stuff, they are elitist of elitist fucks, no? So they don't have any commonality with them, and they are not very religious, even like the 4 Muslim friends that almost every guy in Kolkata has. So they don't really like them. Their parents might like for political reasons and stuff. So, but not in general. The very small population you and I are talking about right now, yeah, they don't like them.
Fairly okay. There's no problem. I don't see much, except for lack of jobs or lack of or total lawlessness at times.
Barbarika Smriti, no one knows what the fuck is a Jansang in Bengal.
Names. I think some of the Muslim public intellectuals, etc., they have now openly come and spoken against it.
So, with sort of West Bengal and Kerala were the only two states at one point of time. Kerala now alternatingly is one. Do you
Very, very well said, Niner. Very important point. Let me give you two examples. I actually had this conversation with mysterious sociologist as well, that there is now a class in Kolkata who are elite Muslims, Ashraf Muslims, 2-3 generations rich as fuck and stuff, who have had the same Bengali Hindu, secular liberal, atheistish upbringing as Kolkata's Bengali Hindu boys and girls, and they are not the ones that at the end of the day still marrying 3 times and wearing a burqa and stuff. No, they're truly secular. Okay, very maybe small population, but there are. Now they are secular and liberal to such an extent that they almost espouse any of the values that we see in devout Muslims. Okay, I know Muslims who these days say that what's the point of discipline and healthy lifestyles and stuff? I'll just earn money as much as I can, have fun, and die at 40, even if that's the case. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. Life is all about enjoyment and stuff. Plus, there are Muslims I know who are making songs about Ma Durga. There's a very famous, not very famous, an up and coming, I guess, singer songwriter in the independent Bengali music scene, who just this year wrote a very good protest song. Like he was commissioned to do it. It was not his personal project. I was a recording engineer for it. So it's completely addressed to Ma Durga with all his devotion. He has written it himself. He's singing it and stuff. So and there's nothing like distinctly Muslim about him that you'll ever find. His parents, looks and stuff, everything. So and these were the Muslims who had grown up knowing as well that who by look uh, give you the vibe that yes, they are just another Bengali. Now after growing up, we started seeing burqas and stuff everywhere. So if you see that guy on the road or see his parents or his grandparents on the roads, you'll think yeah, just a random Bengali. So there is a small section of those people.
do you see communist government as something which may not happen ever in West Bengal? Is their career completely gone? Is that a spent force?
I think the BJP will have to bring back the communists. But see, the cadre is gone. Like I said, see, left did a hat trick of zeros, sir. 2009.
Now, Mir, see, I don't follow Mir all that much, but I have seen him face the brunt from both sides, even Nusrat. So, like, Nusrat gets Nusrat Jahan, the two-time, I think, Trinamool MP, Muslim actress, who wishes people on Hindu festivals and gets gali from her Muslim fans. But Mir Afzal Ali, a famous, probably the most famous Bengali comedian alive. Now, I have heard accusations and seen that I've basically seen screenshots and proofs and stuff that he makes some lighthearted joke on Durga Puja festivals, not on other days. But he, in fact, remember he challenged the Imam of Anwar Shah Mosque that why didn't you wish Eid for everyone and stuff? So there would be a little more zaika in the biryani today and stuff. So he's like that as well.
2019 Lok Sabha election 0, 2021 Assembly election 0, 2024 Lok Sabha election 0. I mean, where do you go from here? There, from my own constituency, there's a young left leader, very bright kid. I speak to him often, and people thought that okay, like he should be the face of our constituency. He should be the elected MP. He came third. He came even behind the BJP candidate, but the Trinamool, of course, won. So I think from here to revive. I mean, there's never again in politics, but I think it will take some time for the left to revive. But I think the 2026 election is going to be very interesting because you have to see, though there's still time, but there is a palpable disenchantment over the RG Kar incident, and before that over those various scams, most notably in the education system, the educational system with Mamata Banerjee. So you'll have to see if electorally that does something. But I think the left.
तो ये देखो palpable disenchantment तो भाई 10 साल से है, but the problem is who does the riggings and stuff. There is rigging, government employee and stuff. So I don't think they are convinced that if even though they are like getting lesser DA than central government employees. Even like 2 days back, central government increased DA once again. So inflation is going up because of DA. Bengal is getting poorer because Bengal government employees are not getting paid anything, and there's no economy, there's no entrepreneurship in Bengal. We are fucked in so many ways. Like if we had one butthole, there are like 10 dicks inside that butthole.
Can revive them, like I said, only if the BJP lets it revive.
So, from a state which has gone, I think, in chunks, Congress rule of 30 years, and then left rule of 30 years, TMC now about 15-ish. But in a state which, as we keep saying, great rich tradition, and today where it is, what do you think is really what West Bengal should look forward to? Who can pull West Bengal ahead?
Only Thomas Well and Sanjeev Sanyal. Now I don't know who Nazia Ilahi Khan is.
Wow. You should be able to, I tell you this. So like I said, I briefly touched upon that you have different yardsticks, right? In Bengal, the yardstick is not money making. I think you should learn how to make money. So the moment you realize that your sense of self, cultural and social, and
Oh my god. What did he say? Are we entering the glory days of Bengal again? He's saying the solution is to make money. Holy shit.
academic is not enough at the end of the day to go out and make some money and not just watch films and read books all day.
Oh,
I think
no.
this sense of pulling up the state economically,
These are personal attacks to me as well. I am a quasi bhadralok, guys.
when that sense comes in and that becomes your guiding force, I think Bengal will revive. I think it's a debate I keep having with my mother, who sort of who has very different political views than me, and she blames everything sometimes on Mamata Banerjee. So I said, no, she's not the problem. The problem is we as a people. We have to. Is every BJP state government run excellently? Answer is no. But does it reflect on the people of the state? Do industries stop? Do people stop going ahead in life because the state government is not run well? No. I think we have to first learn how to look at ourselves differently. We have to ask for different things. Once we do that, I think there will be political change. So it's not a person per se; it's the people. Because if you think that if you keep making those, I mean, there's so many debates, television, otherwise, where you see that BJP has an edge, etc. I did so in 2021. But when you go and you think, oh no, but the BJP is a fascist force. Oh, it's a communal party. Oh, but my sense of Bengaliness will go, and you press the other button. I mean, who will? It's just a leader coming in here and there won't change it. So I think you have to start demanding other things for yourself. That's when change will come.
So, and maybe just one or two more questions. But again, in terms of the most recent incident, and as one says, we didn't need what happened in Calcutta in December for a change to happen. But do you see the continuing anger, the continuing movement, the continuing unrest as a flashpoint in the history of Bengal?
Definitely. So I have not seen anything like this. I did a bit of student politics myself, but I have not seen anything like this in my lifetime. This kind of public anger spilling out on the streets. Will it sustain till 2026? Probably not. I mean, of course, the doctors won't keep on.
Nino, very important question. I'd like to answer this. So he's asking, can we safely say that the more loud voices among Bhadralok these days are Sanghi and leftists? And leftists are losing the race of being up to date because I can't name any new faces for leftists from Bengal. So you are correct, but only for now. They have realized the problem and they are absolutely creating new faces, okay? There are kids coming up in the CPIM. There are kids being groomed in the Arjikor protests. And the remember one guy's bio I had posted who got some like insane genius kind of a grant which about like one person every year in the whole world gets, okay? Like you are extremely great at your chosen field, but you are also pretty great at something else, so here's some money for you to take some time off and pursue that other interest, okay? And the guy who got that grant, his research topic is the rise of Hindutva. So these guys are getting groomed. These guys are going to come to Bengal and again counter us on narrative and stuff, going to fight the narrative battle. And then we hope no one has to say that ab bhai system to unka hai. But do not be under the impression that left has not figured out the problem.
Protesting till 2026, and I hope they don't, because there are serious sort of risk to public health if young doctors don't go to hospitals, public hospitals. But I don't know whether this particular protest will not go until 2026. But I think this disenchantment, or at least a fraction of it, can go until 2026, because it's very solid this time. That it may not be solid enough to bring in change, but it perhaps is solid enough to bring in some quick in the hustings.
So, normally we ask our closing question to our speaker saying, what should this audience sitting in Ville Parle, extreme other end of Kolkata, do about this issue? But I think you brought it out very clearly that if West Bengal has to move forward, it has to be the Bengali bhadralok and the Bengali people who have to do it. But yet, a question, what is it that this part of the country can learn from that part of the country?
Yeah, because see, the upliftment of Bengal is about narrative. Upliftment of Bengal is not about one political party winning, really, because maybe the masses can come in masses and vote for someone, but they'll do it for getting Lokhi Bhandar for 2,000 rupees instead of 1,200 rupees, or 5,000 rupees instead of 1,200 rupees. They are going to be the first ones who are going to oppose any taking away of land. Or if convinced, maybe they will give away land, but there will be other shenanigans at play anyway. Okay, the non-economic shenanigans. So one kind of transfer of power definitely has to happen through the bhadraloks as well.
And what is it that we should be aware of so that we don't face the same problem? And I'll pose that other question. I have a bet with my friends that while I won't live to see it, if we don't take care enough, 75 years down the line, Mumbai might be another Kolkata.
I will say this, look, and like I said, when I began saying it, Ami walked in. But I am all for what Ramakrishna, the great sage Ramakrishna said, "Jotomot Totopot." Be as open as you can. That according to me at least is the very essence of our faith. Don't be closed to an open mind. Okay, don't be closed, because the way we practice our faith, the way Hindus practice their faith, is so varied from space to space. Even within the same district, people practice their faith. We practice different gods. There are 33 crore gods. There, even to not believe is a part of Hinduism. However, don't be so open that you are
someone's going to correct him in the audience, I know, right after he gets off the stage.
Nothing, because that definitely doesn't help. I think that's something you need to. That's something from Bengal, from Bangladesh. You need to retain. How much of what you will be is up to you, but don't be so open that you completely dilute yourself. I think that's a culturally, not just religiously, even culturally. I think it's very imperative. It's not just a question of Bangladesh, Bengal, Maharashtra. I think it's the question of the world. If you look at the world today, to completely dilute yourself of every essence of what made you, is not a very smart thing to do, I think, in today's world.
Thank you so much. I think as the nation celebrates yet another day, thanks to our elected representatives, Parag Aroniji and Abhijit Samanji, who are always there with us.
Okay, that's the end of the video. So, actually, shift in roadside party netas is not going to happen, because the way Bengal's economy is, it's completely, I mean, at least the party neta, local party neta economy, it's completely dependent on black money. And those local party netas maybe are second generation, third generation political party gundas and netas and stuff. So it's not like just because BJP comes to power, they are going to become data scientists one fine morning. Who's even going to open a data science, let's say, company or a job to go to in Kolkata just because BJP comes to power? So it's a long game. None of it's happening anytime soon. और देर वो लोकल पार्टी नेता को लेके जो भी पावर में आएगा उसको भी पावर में रहना पड़ेगा इनके हेल्प के साथ ही, इनके हेल्प के बेसिस पे ही. So the tough road is very tough ahead. Some magic can change Bengal. No. Yeah, magic could. Since there is no magic, Bengal is not going to change drastically. Bengal is going to have a tough fucking time. Bengal needs someone like Himanta Biswa Sharma. Yeah, maybe. But even he's not going to... See, the structural problems are structural problems. No one can fix this. Structure is a structure. Structure to hai bhai decent. I mean, ekdam fucked Bengal mein. So Bengal needs someone like... Yeah, not going to happen. Assamese have high cultural consciousness in terms of their Hindu identity as well. Yeah, even in the cities of Assam. Shay. Okay then. Thanks for joining, guys. It was a nice live stream. Deep Halder came out of the closet. We'll congratulate him the next time we see him face to face. Thank you for joining, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं गुणाद्रष्टाम्बरप्रदं हस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकरां मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयः पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत्